Swans at Lynch and Rocket. It should be a big matchup. Ruse will be interesting to see where he plays. And the use of Schwass will be fascinating here tonight. Swans going to the left of screen. Kelly in the centre square. Schwass in the centre square as well. And Stafford and Clark should be a great duel. Clark's probably about a year in front of Stafford in terms of experience and games, and they're both very good young ruckmen. Ackermanis out of the centre and finds his man in Leppich. Mickey, we were talking about Leppich off screen before we came, and the Orange Roughie, 95 goals in his last 2 seasons. He's probably got to now jump up and kick 75 in one season now.
Yeah, well, he is one player that could create problems here for Dunkley because he's a burst leader, very quick on the lead, and that's one thing that Dunkley has to certainly watch tonight.
Wouldn't they love a start like this, Brisbane? After their disappointment last week, they were the big losers of round 1. Kicks it, looks to have kicked it very well. He's got it. The body language is good. Brisbane in front. What do you reckon about body language? Mick, are you into all of that? I mean, they've all run to him there after the goal. Your
enthusiasm is so infectious, Bruce, and it's great to see a side that was probably ridiculed throughout the week about their performance on their home ground last week, but they've responded in this manner. The speed of Ackermanis could be critical because the width here at the Sydney Cricket Ground is so important for leg speed, and Ackermanis, as we know, is very quick.
Well, the centre bounce is also critical. This wasn't a bad kick by Justin Leppich. Lined it up beautifully. Made sure he kicked the goal, which was a good start for Brisbane. So back in the centre, and the umpire, well, the other bounce probably favoured Clark the other way. This time Stafford knocks it forward. Mooney off the right foot, kicks it to a vacant half-forward area. Bouncing awkwardly. Back there was Leo Barry, traps the ball. Big Plucker's got hold of it. Tries to get the hand pass back to Mooney. Not all that effective. Cresswell, well harassed. Now Lawrence, Stephen Lawrence, good kick too to Voss. Voss has taken the mark, looks to play on. Lawrence in trouble. Good tackle by Schwass. Now the Swans will go forward. The little left foot kick by Nix is a bit of an up and under and mongrel punt kick. Barry knocks it clear. Chance for Philandia. Great goal kicker last week. Knocked away by Buse for Brisbane. Lawrence in the play again. Darryl White, a deft little left foot kick, has been marked by Voss.
Such a class act, Voss. So important to the Lions. Kicks the ball to half forward. Good fly by Scott. Good to see him back. Push forward again by Leppich. Some pace by Power. One of a couple of rookies who are playing their first matches tonight. High tackle on Wolf, who'll get a free kick. Power and O'Brien coming in for their first matches. Black, another rookie. And Saddington, just a high tackle there. Leppich very strong on Wolf. And it was a poor effort actually by Leppich because Wolf was gone. And he just had to sit on him and tackle him right, and they had him. So Wolf at half back. Swans trail by a goal. This should be a cracking match. Big fly, good mark. Mooney over the back. Could be a key to the Swans in 98. Can he go up a notch? Nix at centre wing.
So the first goal of the game kicked by Justin Leppich. The Swans will go forward. Nix out wide, and the mark has been taken quite nicely out there by Darren Cresswell, who has been a very good contributor for the Swans over the last few seasons. His kick into the pocket, and a good mark, terrific mark by Kelly. And Simon Black, would he have the job, Mick, on Paul Kelly?
Yeah, it's interesting that they're trying to rotate and get the right matchups in the midfield, but one thing has stood out already. Young Hicks has definitely gone to Voss, but also Chris Scott for Brisbane is playing a defensive role, and Paul Ruse across half-back for Sydney.
Gee, some good, very good, effective tackling. And away go the Swans. Have they kicked the goal? It looks all right. Mooney. Streaming away from the congestion. Jason Mooney lines it up and puts it through for Sydney's first goal and scores a level.
As we've seen here, Lawrence, the man in question, great tackle by Kelly, dispossessed the ball, the loose ball came out. Mooney ran onto it, and his conversion from centre half forward was very accurate. Important player to the Sydney side.
Averages half a goal a game, Mooney, in his career to date. There's the Swans interchange. Carey and O'Brien, two of the players there. Cook there as well. Thanks, Robbo. Stafford wins it again. Chance for Stafford. Voss, couple of early touches. Black, who has a big job tonight. Out wide, O'Brien. Kid from your area, Mickey, kicks to full forward in his first game. He's got a bit of pedigree too as far as league football's concerned. Good handball. Ashcroft left foot. Okay, close. Might have got. Just missed. A behind. Behind to Ashcroft. He's a remarkable player. He hasn't missed a match since round 20, 1992. He's played 117 straight. I mean, Jimmy's got the all-time record. I don't think anyone will get close. But Marcus is doing a fair job. Chance here. Power back. So the youngster's getting some touches. Punch away from Dunkley. And Wharf pretty happy to see it go over the line. So it's Sydney a goal. Brisbane 1-1.
Well, actually, it was the kick in then from the behind that Marcus Ashcroft kicked, and they looked as though they messed that up a little bit then, Mick.
Yeah, they certainly messed it up. It's great to see young kids get early touches in a game, and the centering by Power was a high percentage stuff.
Yes, it certainly is a confidence booster for young players. Rowan Wharf trying to apply the pressure there to O'Brien, and the ball spills over for a throw-in. It's about 30 metres around from the Brisbane goal. Terrific crowd. Under the lights, Sydney Cricket Ground, Saturday night. It just is sensational stuff, and you can see there expected minimum 17. It's currently 19 degrees, which is, well, you'd have to say is pretty classical stuff for a game of footy. Ruse just working very hard to try and just lock it up, and we all have become accustomed now to how risky that can be, but gee whiz, a campaigner like Paul Ruse, he knows exactly what he's doing. 337 games, the 7th of the all-time longevity players.
Went past Rantel tonight, Robbo, who played 336.
Well, he's been a fantastic player. Clark gets it from O'Brien, kicks to the goal front. Leppich can't get his foot to it. Ruse, no one home. Young Power's got it. He'll snap for goal. Doesn't quite get enough hook on it. Goes all the way to the line. Dion Scott, now Paul Kelly from the last line of defence, runs away and kicks the Swans out of trouble.
Showed some initiative too, didn't he, Kelly? He could have probably just run it over, but he's been able to get the ball to centre wing. Mooney pushes on. Brisbane messed it up there. Good hands by Barry to Mooney, who's been very good early. Silky O'Loughlin, back to Mooney to Lockett, lace out. Will he get a second crack? Couldn't handle it. Tristan Lynch brought to the ground, and a terrific tackle by Maxfield, who was a bursting player. And free kick actually against Maxwell. Maybe he was a bit high on Tristan Lynch. They wouldn't Schwassy love a kick. We've been playing 7 minutes and he hasn't been able to get his hands on it yet. Well, there's Philandia in hard. Just new club, you'd just love to get a touch early, wouldn't you? Kick to centre wing.
That free kick was just all about being thrown to the ground after the ball was spilt free.
Clark involved, Saddington brought to the ground. So Brisbane starting well here, matching Sydney for intensity in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game, and they lead by behind. It's 7-6. Mooney and Leppich the goal scorers.
And the umpires for tonight's game, Brian Sheen, been around for a while, Stuart Wen and Mark McKenzie, so a bit of experience with a couple of the younger guns in the umpiring ranks. To go forward again, the Swans through Rowan Wharf. Awkward bouncing ball. Lappin, gee, that was terrific, wasn't it, by Philandia? By gee whiz, he'll surely get some pats of credit from his teammates there, Peter Philandia.
That's just terrific intensity, especially in the forward half, Robbo, when you see a player, a ground level player, who's prepared to really get in and get underneath a pack and make a contest of it in that part of the ground.
Bounces again a little awkward and favours Clark. His kick bounces twice and over for a boundary throw-in. It's about 75 metres around from the Swans' goal. Just a wafting breeze, not really having an impact at either end of the ground. Chris Johnson, one of the players there on the boundary line at the moment for Brisbane, with looked like it might have been Matthew Kennedy. Now Lawrence trying to clear the half-back area for Brisbane, but the umpire will bounce.
It's interesting to set up here with Stafford and also Clark. Stafford is pushing forward for Sydney Swans and taking the ruck against his direct opponent in Clark. When it goes the other end of the ground, Clark is playing that conventional kick behind the play.
Now Stafford goes forward, as you say, Mick, and Mooney did the ruck work, so they created a loose man. Sydney, if they get the ball, Buse. Lawrence back to Buse. Another one of the veterans, good kick to the centre square. G should have taken the Leppich. It wasn't difficult. Maxfield, good hands. Dunkley, very good hands. Stevens with his run. Good build-up by the Swans. Kicks to centre half forward. A big fly at the back. Mooney was a good contest. Bradshaw's an athlete. Back to Lynch. Awkward. Close. Just in. Out. Boundary throw-in. Big error, though, by Leppich, wasn't it, in the centre square?
We've just spoke about how enigmatic he can be, Leppich. They're the marks for a key position player. Has to take and then put the pressure on his direct opponent.
Clark, Stafford there with him this time. Push it forward. Lynch. And try and run away. Ran out of room, but able to get distance with that torpedo. Power, good mark. This has been a good start by him. Very, very slight young fellow, but looks promising. He's already had some touches. Had a shot for goal a couple of minutes ago. Neat kick to centre, well played. Found Ashcroft. Ashcroft just forward off centre wing.
Yeah, not much on offer down the ground. Now the lead being provided, but he's going to go long and he's going to give it straight up because getting back is Troy Luck. Just in front of the goal square, kicks it out wide to the path of Rowan Wharf. Darryl White there, so was Maxfield, not able to control it. And the boundary umpire will throw it in. Brisbane lead by a point, they're 7. The Swans are 6. The goal for Brisbane from Justin Lepich, and Jason Mooney is the goal kicker for the Swans. Left forward pocket for Brisbane, boundary throw in about 40 metres around from the Brisbane goal, and Kelly has the football, but he's dispossessed and it's hurried over again for another boundary throw in.
So not a whole lot happening early. Bit of a stalemate. There's Kelly, 4 times the best and fairest here at the club. All-Australian captain. One of the best leaders probably ever, but certainly going around in the modern game. Ashcroft towards the line. Lawrence with a bit of pace and flair. Has a shot from the pocket. Reasonable kick. Very good kick. Close. Has he got it? I reckon he has. Lawrence's goal. He did well there, Lawrence, because
this is a smart handball by Ashcroft, Bruce, in this passage of play.
Yeah. Lawrence also did well because he took the initiative and ran the extra steps to balance up and have a shot. Yeah,
terrific play by Lawrence, but as Robbo mentioned, the ball was kept alive here by first a hard contest by Lawrence, but the loose ball spilled, but what a clever handball it was by Ashcroft. One thing about Lawrence did here, he had a good look at the goals, he got onto his dominant side and assessed his options perfectly well. Great goal.
You know, in some sort of a football magazine or newspaper I've read in the last couple of weeks, one of his teammates, Stephen Lawrence, has nominated him to win the Brownlow medal. Now, I don't know whether he was tongue-in-cheek, but he might have a few fans amongst his peers, Stephen Lawrence. And at the centre bounce, Michael Voss shrugs the tackle, handballs it over to the spectacular Darryl White, down the ground, perfect. Well, dear me, this just looks like straightforward stuff, doesn't it? When they get hold of it in the middle, straight down to Justin Lepich, and you would have to think, Mick, that he's got a chance to kick this. It's 50 metres, I know, but right in front.
These are the goals that Lepich has to kick. You know, this is his maximum distance. When you get outside sort of 50 metres, naturally the accuracy always isn't there, but goals like this, Lepich has to kick.
Good concentration and a beautiful kick straight over the goal umpire's head. They've got 3 on the board, the Brisbane side. Justin Lepich has kicked his second goal. Stephen Lawrence has kicked 1. They've got 3-1 on the board. Sydney are a goal.
Great build up here again. Michael Voss is similar to Robert Harvey. He stands up in the tackle, just wiggles his hips and creates the tackle to lose his balance in the tackle. But playing inside centre corridor here at Sydney Cricket Ground is so important. Great conversion by Justin Lepich.
Good start here for the Lions. Lepich with a couple of early goals. 19-6. Voss with 4 touches. And Brisbane have come out running. Tapped by Clark with Creswell. Ackermanis still over the top. Creswell with him. Stafford onto Ackermanis. Kelly trying to burst his way through. Kick around the corner by Stevens. Inside 50. O'Loughlin clever. Ran into Philandia, unfortunately. The handball, Buse did a good job. Kelly's handball was good. Back to Barry. Barry clever. That's a good little chip. Maxfield back. Swans just forcing it back. Saddington can kick the goal. Balances up. Goes, but he's a good kid. A good goal. We saw a star, I think, at Cardinia Park today in Ottens out of the rookies. And I reckon we're seeing some good kids here tonight. Saddington, one of them there, with that goal, and Sydney needed it. They're 2 goals to 3-1.
Great poise by a young fella playing his first game here, Robbo. It just goes to show when you have got that poise and ability to know what's going on around the situation, to get back onto your dominant side and naturally kick the ball so effective. Great play and naturally an enthusiastic start from a young fella like that.
Does the ball bounce any different here than any of the grounds in Melbourne? Is it higher or not at all?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it would.
No, fair enough. Now, the blood rule is seeing the Swans captain.
It's on his knee, Robbo, left knee. Yeah.
Being forced to the interchange bench.
We spoke about the role young Simon Black might have on Paul Kelly, but Simon Black is renowned for his endurance capabilities, and that's the reason why he's been matched up against Paul Kelly.
And much to the delight of the Swans fans, number 41, Troy Cook, doesn't mind a little bit of a biffo. Troy Cook, we've become accustomed to that. He's on the ground to replace Kelly.
Hughes has got him too, Robbo, so that could be interesting.
Yes, plenty of action there. Tap out, not really all that effective, the clearance. Still there to Stafford's working very hard, and he's going after the footy, trying to give one of his teammates a little bit of a path. That ball is awkward, it's pretty hot. Now McPherson, just missed him. Philandia, terrific stuff. Stevens, then Schwass, then Cresswell, Mooney. Now that's the pressure that they've applied, the Brisbane side, and they've eventually come away with the footy. So a compliment to them. That kick by Andrew Hughes has been well marked by Dunkley at centre back, and he's going to get a 50-metre penalty. Perhaps being attended to after the mark was awarded, and it could be against Dion Scott.
Think he's within kicking distance now, Robbo?
You get the ball around the middle here, and if you can get a bit of a run at it like Wayne Schwass has, he's kicked it to within scoring distance. Disciplined punch from behind by Alistair Lynch. Chance for Maxfield, handball to McPherson. McPherson close to the line. Tries to hook the kick to the front of the square. At the back, reading it quite nicely, was Ashcroft. Hasn't got anyone really to kick to, but he does it well. Puts it out in front there of young O'Brien. Maybe just the moment. He's perhaps still a little excitable, and he dropped what he would look at normally and say, I should have taken. 19 plays 12, and we'll have a boundary throw in about 75 metres around from the Swans' goal.
So Cook off for that short spell, and Kelly back on. Schwass has had a couple of touches now, handball and then a kick in the last minute. That'll settle in. He's into it again. Bursts through, shoots for goal, close. I reckon he's got it. How's this for a Cinderella start now? They're going to like him up here, and I think he's going to like them too. It's going to be one of those mutual arrangements. 3 goals to 3-1.
It's one thing Wayne Schwass has always had that ability to do, to make something out of nothing. He was in tight, had a quick assessment of where the goals were, kicked it across his right shoulder, as we always are familiar with. But Wayne Schwass is a quality contributor, and we'll see a fair bit of that throughout the course of tonight.
Gee, what a good goal there by Schwass. Somehow he got an effective kick away and scored a goal. Clark gets an effective tap, but chopped off by Schwass, and he made it look a little worse than it really was. He's been awarded a free kick. Schwass from the left-hand defending point of the square out wide to Nix. Nix runs around the man on the mark. Could have done a bit better because it's enabled him to kick to the advantage of Lockett, but Lynch, well, is it a free kick? No. Lynch was looking back at the umpire, but umpire Brian Sheehan just giving the all clear for a boundary throw in about 35 metres around. 2 of the all-time stalwarts, Alistair Lynch and Tony Lockett, nothing much in that. And here's a chance now for Kelly. Kelly has kicked a goal, I would suggest. No-nonsense football from the captain. Slow start, but by gee, they've answered quickly. They've kicked 4 straight. Brisbane 3-1.
Just the importance here from a learning point of view. Young Black didn't feel the body of Paul Kelly in a set play situation or a stop play situation. When the umpire's got the ball in the forward part of the ground, you have to control your direct opponent by feeling him, having awareness of where your opponent is, because you have to get goal side of your direct opponent.
Swans hitting back hard. Take the lead for the first time tonight. So an entertaining opening term. Some good signs from both the teams. Let's hope they can go at it all night at this pace and this evenness, and we'll have a cracking match. Wharf doing well. Stretching it to centre-half forward. O'Loughlin just caught out of position. Lappin, that's a good matchup. Lappin versus O'Loughlin. There's some real skill there. Coming away is White. Kick was good to a half forward. O'Brien, who's in the forward half now. Scott and Lepage deep. O'Bree's kick, penetrating, good one, gives Lepich a chance. There's a terrific fly. Roos at the back, mops up.
Sydney are very disciplined in their approach of flooding players back into the forward half of Brisbane. Gave the options, no space for Lepich or Dion Scott to lead into. The players like Schwass got back into plug holes. Great play.
Roos's kick pinpoint was good. Wolf's got it at half-back. Disguised it well, Roos then. He's kicked it 50 metres. It didn't get there all that quickly, but it was well enough done for Wolf to take the mark. To McPherson. We've seen a lot of the Swans under Rodney Eade, who, by the way, turns 40 today, Rocket. Happy birthday. McPherson keeps it low. It's a neat kick. Mooney, long way from home. It's going to transfer play. This is a good setup. Wide. Now, Dunkley wanted to go on there, but he was held up. It was good play by Scott. Then he gets it out wide and finds Stevens, who is a remarkable story. He debuted at 25 after all the problems he'd had with his heart problems and everything else, and he's really made a go of it, hasn't he?
Well, I played with him down at Collingwood, Bruce, and his work rate and his endurance is just remarkable. It's just a credit to see a guy triumph over adversity. Goes
for goal. Might have just missed. I mean, tonight we're looking at 4 teenagers who are in their rookie season. Saddington and the 3 from Brisbane. This bloke played his first game of league footy at 25. And there's been a few over the last few years that have been mature players and have gone on and had good careers.
Well, I think maybe there'll be a lot more too, Bruce. I mean, it doesn't mean to say that if you're a little bit older that you can't come back and play a bit of footy. Kelly, experienced campaigner, in towards the centre. Nix, 25 plays 20, 6.5 minutes left in the term. Nix kicks across the line, but getting back is Tristan Lynch, and he takes the mark. It's the hand pass away. This is Kennedy. Kennedy can go very long. At the back, Voss couldn't quite hang on to it. Clark, just a little lumbering, but he seems to have great vision and awareness. Johnson goes back to Black. Black goes across the line, and just a little caught out there was Dion Scott. Wow, let it go. And in goes Chris Scott, and should kick a goal, and does just that.
Interesting.
Well, I'm blowed if I know. I have seen probably worse than that being awarded. I know he didn't hang on to it for very long, but oh, gee whiz.
Interesting decision this, Robbo. I think he had enough time, Troy Luff. He took the punt, got away from his direct opponent in Dion Scott. I would have certainly gave it a mark.
He controlled it, didn't he? In the spirit of the law, I reckon that's a mark. Well, the Sydney crowd here reckon it was a mark, and I think most of us up here do too. Luff having controlled and stopped the ball. We need Johnny Russo right now. Out of the centre. White, the handball there coming from Carter, who's on the ground. So Brisbane, O'Bree's been handy, hasn't he, early? It's a pretty solid young fellow. Kicks to full forward, Dion Scott. Voss, back to Luff. Panicked a bit with the kick. Good take by Wharf. Terrific take. Schwass took it on the up too. He's on his wrong side, but he can kick all right with the right. Wide to Mooney, who's been busy in the opening quarter, and out of bounds. So 4-2 Brisbane, 4-1 Sydney. Let's have another look. Luff stopped it, controlled it. Scott in.
Well, as I say, Bruce, you see a lot worse than that paid, and I think Troy Luff would feel a little bit hard done by, but anyway, play went on and Chris Scott got the goal. Brisbane lead by a point there, 26, Sydney at 25, and the football in the forward half for Sydney. Nix probably should have gathered that. If he has another look at it, he probably gives Brisbane a chance to take possession of the footy, and they do. Ashcroft's hand pass a little too fierce there for Andrew Buse, but he's able to get back and recover his situation, goes down the line and gives it up a little bit too easily, I would have thought. Kicked away by Barry, back towards the middle of the ground, puts Stafford under a bit of pressure for a big man, but he does well. Maxfield to full forward, beautiful pass, right onto the chest there of O'Loughlin. And O'Loughlin the chance to kick the 5th goal for Sydney. He's a dangerous player, this player, Maxfield, when he gets the footy with a bit of space.
What about the agility of Stafford to get down at ground level, but also give off a handball to allow space for Maxfield to run into? But the importance of O'Loughlin in the forward half for Sydney has just shown out in the first 15 minutes or so of this game. He is quick on the burst of a lead. It's going to be an interesting duel with him against Lappin.
Well, he'll get the distance, but not the accuracy. Just a behind. Good build-up. Disappointing result for Sydney. They move on to 4-2, and of course they are level now with Brisbane. And the only multiple goal kicker so far in the game is Justin Leppich, who has kicked a couple. And interestingly, Marcus Ashcroft goes back to kick in and kicks to himself.
And a bounce. Comes away from full-back. Keeps it low. Wants Tristan Lynch over the top. He's got some good distance here. Lynch being worked towards the line. How to play. Nick, just go back to that shot of O'Loughlin. You were one of the best we saw from 35 metres. Do you actually kick to the centre, the heart of the goals, or how did you approach those shots for goal from easy distance range? Maybe not so easy in terms of...
I basically concentrated on balance more than anything, probably, Bruce, and had to pick something out behind the goals, and that's the reason why I prided myself on kicking for goal as much as I could.
So O'Loughlin missing that one. They're not easy, but should get them. There's Philandia, 5 goals last week. Cook next to him. Deep into the first quarter. Clark went early. Stafford is going to be a pivotal duel. Carter took too long. Onto him, Schwass. Barry handy early. Neat kick. Smothered, actually. Looked to me as if it was going in the Kelly direction. Handball back by Black to Ashcroft, who's been good. Buse, wide. Lynch. Did he get a hand on it? No. Out on the full. So Andrew Buse kicked to Leo Barry a moment ago and now kicks the ball out on the full. Nicks in, too far for Kelly. This is dangerous. They can make them pay. Clark, not bad. Gives Scott the run of it. Luff's right with him. Ruse gets back. Quick handball coming away. Goes to ground. Off the ground by Johnson was a good ploy. Hooks it back and kicks it behind. So the error coming from Sydney at centre wing, missing Kelly's body, and the Swans go to 4-3, Sydney 4-2. There's the Premier of New South Wales, Mr. Bob Carr.
And number 24, he used to wear
Mike
it for Hawthorn, Chris Langford.
And so, yeah, Chris and also Mike Sheehan in the background there. Mick came up for the golden slipper and for this match. He's had a big sporting day.
And I ran into Shane Templeton also, Bruce, outside. So there's a lot of representation from Melbourne because of this big race meeting that's been held here today. That mark has been paid there to Dunkley, out wide to Schwass. And Schwass, well, in that situation, you wouldn't expect him to miss a target. Maxfield just goes down the line, and Schwass has provided some fantastic running there. He's going to get that second possession. He might even have it. No, he's going to be disciplined and kick it to the front of the square. And there's someone there. It's the big fella Stafford. Well, congratulations to Schwass. He first of all initiated it from about half back to Maxfield, then ran about 45 metres to provide another target.
And this is what we've become accustomed to seeing in Wayne Schwass. His great ability to break the lines and cover ground with carrying the ball. But what high percentage stuff that was. He centred the ball, seen Stafford drifting forward. He gave the ball enough elevation so it could give Stafford's height a chance to take the mark. At this stage of the game, he started to settle with 6 kicks on the board. And when we know he gets a lot of the ball, they're always quality.
Certainly are, and he's a quality player too, Greg Stafford. He slams it straight through for another goal to the Swans.
Schwass hadn't had a kick, Mickey, at the 16-minute mark, and he's had 6 in the last 12 minutes of footy, plus a handball.
Wayne Schwass has always had that great ability to find the ball. And the best thing about his game tonight, he started to work hard initially in the defensive stakes. I think he's laid 3 or 4 tackles at this early point of the game. But as the game gets into it and increases, naturally the spaces open up. And Wayne Schwass, as we know, he certainly does use that space effectively.
Swans back in front here in what's been a terrific opening term. They lead 5-2 to 4-3. Clark wins the tap. Voss, the handball wide. Black tries to belt the ball on. Still a disputed ball in the centre square. Important the breakaways here. As much as any ground in the AFL, with the shortness of the Sydney cricket ground, a clean break out of the centre can mean so much. Carey doing the ruck work with Clark. Stafford in the forward pocket to sort his use up forward by getting the goal. Handball by Carter, back to Clark, onto him Mooney. Clark goes to ground, Ashcroft, Mooney making a nuisance of himself, good play. McPherson tries to get through, good handball by Creswold and next to Kelly. Kelly's away, goes long and hard to fall forward. Stafford, O'Loughlin, Stafford's got it, the height again. It's a good move to push him forward, and Carey doing the ruck work.
Well, as we know, Bruce, height becomes very critical in the last line of your forward play. And you see Kelly here, he assesses his options, he kicks the ball long and direct at goal. And Stafford's height, his better judgment on this occasion. Bradshaw did lose him in traffic, didn't feel the body of Stafford, and great aerial judgment by the big ruckman.
So he kicked beautifully a bit closer in a moment ago. Good shot of the angle here. Should goal. They like it. Stafford.
Well, actually, he was being outpointed at the centre bounces by Clark. So the move, which was forced upon them to try and be more competitive in the middle, puts him down there. He's kicked 2 goals in the last few minutes. Carey, well, all he's got to do basically is compete at the centre bounces.
It's a bit of a bonus too. He kicked 12 goals in his career in 60 games. He's probably never kicked more than 2 in a match, and suddenly he's got 2 in the opening quarter. Real bonus for the Swans.
And close to quarter time. Only less than a minute left in the first term. And until Stafford kicked those last 2 goals, they were trailing, not by a big margin, but they were behind. Stafford gave them the lead and has now capitalised on it. Swans fans come out in force here at the Sydney Cricket Ground for night football. Clark again gets his first touch to it at the centre. Hacked out of there, out towards the centre wing. Maxfield has possession, kicks it across his body and does it pretty well. Coming out there was Barry, not able to take the mark. Hand pass again a little too fierce for Leo Barry. Not a bad tackle there by Tristan Lynch. Johnson, Maxfield, and the umpire's found a free kick. It might go to Tristan Lynch, no, maybe a little bit further off the ball than that, and it will go to Chris Johnson. Johnson for Brisbane. Maybe if they can take a mark here, there's still a chance for them to score. Lepich was up high, wasn't he? And he's still in the action, Justin Lepich. Hand pass ineffective. Knock forward, no, scoop, says the umpire against Maxfield. And Brisbane will take the free kick. The agency of Michael Voss. And if his kick is marked, and it could be, it's not a bad kick out in front of Dion Scott. Getting back as Carey to work hard. And the siren sounds just as Brisbane were launching a promising attack on goal. The Swans fans have had a fair bit to barrack about in the first term. Stephen Carey going into the ruck. Greg Stafford going forward to kick 2 late goals. And at quarter time, Sydney lead by 11 points. The Swans are 6-2, Brisbane are 4-3. Taller than that.
Great player and had a huge impact on the Swans over the last couple of years. I'll be keen to get him back. Sydney leads Brisbane 6-2 to 4-3. Lepich got a couple of goals for the Lions in the opening term. Stafford a couple. Here's O'Brien getting it from Ashcroft. High ball to fall forward. Lepich out. Voss backwards, always constructive to Tristan Lynch. Good kick. Cross the face. Gee, O'Brien can find the football. Let's see how well he can kick it. His uncle was Alan Butch Edwards, and his grandfather also played footy, over 100 games for Footscray. He's given it his best. It's right there. Belted away by Stafford. Kelly over the boundary line. And a throw in.
At quarter time, that break where Neil spoke to Dale Lewis, he said that there was a set play to put Stafford down there.
It was
I thought it was forced upon them.
It was actually interesting during the first quarter there. There was a boundary throw in. Carey went to the ruck and Stafford pushed forward straight away.
Well, we can talk about that when there's a bit more of a lull, I guess. But Kelly, it is in the danger zone. Tristan Lynch for Brisbane kicks it back to the front of the square. And the umpire's found a free kick. It is to Sydney. And it looks as though it might go to Greg Stafford. On the last line of defence to Schwass. Beautiful kick. And dropping perhaps what he should have taken, John Stevens there. Maybe he thought the fence was a little closer. Slipped through his fingers. Mark Orchard, Stephen Carey, Craig O'Brien, 3 of the bench warmers presently for Sydney. 38 plays 27. The Swans lead by 11 points early in the second term. Clark has been pretty good. Stafford gets the front position and then tries a bit of a soccer kick out of that ruck contest. O'Brien again into the action. Not much he could do there, close to the boundary line, and forces a throw in.
I think we see the situation starting to happen now that Schwass is getting a lot of the ball. The move of putting Ashcroft back onto Schwass could have vital importance on the outcome of this game.
Because Ashcroft too found the footy a fair bit in the opening terms, had 9 possessions, so that could be a key. Schwass a bit more penetrating and maybe a little more dangerous. Centre wing, Swans lead 38 to 27. They beat Port Adelaide in the opening match. Port has really proved that form by winning handsomely today at Waverley. And Brisbane with their disappointment against the Bulldogs at home. Roos at the back, Chris Scott playing on him, as Mick's already told us. O'Brien, the Schwass tackle was good. And Brian Sheehan says he'll bounce it between centre wing and half forward. So Schwass getting really involved now.
That decision's based on the fact that he didn't really try to break the tackle. The tackle just locked him up.
Yep, tied him up, didn't give him a prior opportunity to get rid of the footy. Great tackle by Schwass, and as Bruce just mentioned, that's one part of the game that I've been particularly impressed with.
So Stafford and Clark. Stafford front spot, Lawrence in hard. Quick kick away by Nix. Bouncing ball to centre wing. Philandia over and abused with him. White, clever. Tap to back. That's very, very good. To Ashcroft. Ashcroft wide to Lawrence.
I tell you what, he is just a sensational player, Darryl White. I mean, some of the things he does. And there's Schwass again in the action. Just a very good percentage bit of play there by Wayne Schwass to knock it clear for a throw-in. You'd have to have wonderful understanding to be around Darryl White, though, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd really have to be just about thinking the game the way he does. Boundary throw-in. Roos takes the tap down. Darryl White again. Now, we'll just watch. Little hand pass, not bad. Sets it up for Ackermanis. His kick is good. Excellent kick in front of Dion Scott. And there was a little bit of space for Scott to lead into. He's taken the mark about 35, maybe 40 metres out from goal directly in front. So good spot to have a shot for goal from here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Scott goes back and kicks truly. So the goal is on the scoreboard to Brisbane. Dion Scott kicks his first goal, and Sydney get the first goal of the second quarter.
Just in that build-up, Robbo, it was great to see Michael Voss, his work off the ball, to come here and give the Shepherd, just as we've seen off screen, to give White a little bit of time and space to give the ball inside to Ackermanis, and what great delivery that is for forwards. It gives them confidence to lead directly at the ball carrier, but it's great to see Dion Scott present himself, getting up the ground, but more importantly, kicking goals when they're counted.
A good passage of play there for the Brisbane Lions. They have kicked their fifth goal, the first goal of the second term, through Dion Scott.
Voss in the forward line with Creswell with him at the moment, so Brisbane very much in touch. Ashcroft again getting plenty of the ball. Here is Voss, Creswell, Lepich. He might have been surprised that it fell into his arms. Couldn't hang on. Chris Scott back to Lawrence. Brave got a quick kick away. Brisbane hard at it here in the opening minutes of the second quarter. You can see that they've come out as they did in the opening term. Coming off the ground, Saddington. That's Jason Saddington, the 18-year-old.
Young Mark Orchard's replaced him, Bruce.
Yeah, who we talked about also, Mickey, in the build-up to the game off air. What a good season he had last year. You'd know him from Collingwood. Schwass's kick. Clever there by Wharf, and again by Kelly. Maxfield, Wharf off the ground. Philandia got down low, pushed it out wide. Here's O'Brien. Now Stevens is quick. Can the Shepherd come on to help O'Brien? Didn't really get there. O'Brien's kick had not much on it. Back to Nix. Nix back turn was good. Delivers to full forward. O'Loughlin at the back. Oh, nearly took a beauty. Buse there. Still Buse. Fishing for it. And 4 or 5 players over the top. And it's going to be a bounce about 35 metres from Sydney's goal. O'Loughlin good there. He actually was quite passive, and then at the last moment threw himself into the competition. Took the others by surprise. Couldn't quite hold it.
Busey good too. Put his body where he knew he was going to nearly get his head knocked off, but just locked it up a bit for Brisbane and has put it into a bit of a one-on-one situation here now. Not that far from Sydney's goal. Buse gathers. Can't do much with the footy. The umpire will bounce once again. O'Loughlin and Peter Philandia. 38 plays 33. Sydney lead.
It's also interesting at this set play, you see Stafford pushing forward and the reaction from the Brisbane defence. Darryl White's actually going to push onto him, but also Creswell is getting Voss away, as we can see on screen in the background, pushing him away from the contest where he's very good at.
So who does the ruck work? Obviously Jason Mooney. Ashcroft ran into a bit of strife there. Clark, dispossessed by O'Loughlin, was good. Basketball type stuff there by Michael O'Loughlin, and he's going to get a chance. No, he's not. Michael Voss, terrific in that action. Kicked away there by Bradshaw out wide. Chance again for O'Brien and Wharf, and not clear for a throw-in. The Brisbane side appealing for maybe deliberate, but the umpire having nothing of that, and it'll be thrown in. Philandia looks as though he's going to the bench, so perhaps he could be replaced by, it would be O'Brien, you would think. Yes, Craig O'Brien coming onto the ground. He's a goal kicker, Craig O'Brien. Has been for quite a while now. Schwass, the ball bounces nicely for him, and he thumps it towards Lockett. Lockett jostling. Good mark, Lynch. Big man Alistair Lynch, and held his ground very nicely there against Big Plugger. Kicks it out wide to Ashcroft. Ashcroft, the running being provided there by Voss. He's a very, very good ball handler, Michael Voss, in front of Darren Cresswell. Looking to move it on, but now he goes short. And a good mark in the finish taken by Chris Scott. Great to see him in this Brisbane side. He's had a lot of trouble with injuries over the last couple of years. Black running into the pocket is Lappin. He hasn't had much of the footy, Nigel Lappin, but he's got a chance here to kick a goal for Brisbane. He'll certainly kick the distance. The man on the mark is only about 30 metres out, but the angle...
It's interesting in the build-up here, Robbo. Sydney Swans players push back to actually control an area. They call it flooding in modern-day football. But the players, the Brisbane Bears players behind the ball who run forward can often find space. And that's where you've got to hold the ball up, assess your options and give delivery for those guys that get into those spots.
Well, very skillful player, Nigel Lappin. And he kicks for goal and misses to the left.
Didn't touch the footy. One Swans player from the time Lynch took the mark over Lockett. Able to push the ball down this side of the ground. Plugger without a kick so far, struggling.
You very rarely see Tony Lockett out-bustled and out-strengthened a mark on a one-on-one situation 30 metres out from goal.
Kelly, in fact, I can't. A good grab by Tristan Lynch. I can't remember anyone doing what Alistair Lynch did on Tony Lockett a moment ago. It's very rare. So one Lynch at one end and another Lynch here. That's a great grab. Kicks the full forward. Lepic with one hand. A couple against him. Schwass on the ground. Over the top of him was, I think it was Black. Might be, Black, and it's going to be a ball up about 40 metres out. So Brisbane doing well here. 5-4 to 6-2. Sydney having trouble shaking them early in this second quarter. Brian Shen, Stuart Wen and Mark McKenzie, 9-22-24 respectively, the three umpires tonight. Stafford got the tap, Power got a quick kick away, but it might help Sydney here. Luff, good shepherding provided. Luff's little kick was a good tackle on him, and again Akamanis was able to put a tackle on. Lawrence did really well. Out to Power as a left footer, probably just a bit slow, and onto him Kelly. Well, no one tackles quicker than Kelly, so forgive the kid for that. And he's forced the error, and it's going to be a ruse to bring it back in.
Isn't it great to see one part of the game that really has intensified is the defensive pressure at the ball carrier.
Talk about a little slow. He's come from the Oakley Chargers to the Sydney Cricket Ground in less than 6 months, Luke Power. He'll learn all about it, I'm sure. Luff just kicks it quickly back towards half-back. Hand pass really to no one in particular. Ashcroft and Cook. Stevens, very well done. Sets it up for Maxfield. Across the full forward line, out in front, terrific pass. And O'Brien, he's only been on the ground for about 2 minutes. He's got a chance to kick a goal from about 45 metres. The kick maybe will have to carry 50.
We've just seen the importance of gaining momentum, getting your line through the line of the ball, but pushing it forward and giving your opportunity for forwards to present themselves.
O'Brien shot for goal, and that's a mark, I'd suggest, to Lockett. The umpire, the goal umpire is going back, certainly indicating that he took it before the behind line.
This is where we see the thinking forward, Robbo, on this part of the ground. Not much to work with space, looking at goals. And you have a look at the angle on television here. What will he do? He'll probably just assess, but knowing Tony's ability, wouldn't be surprised if he walks around and kicks a left foot shot at goal.
Saw Dean Kemp kick one, didn't we, last night, Robbo, from exactly here.
And Plugger tried it, but didn't quite have the effect. Just kicked the behind.
I think you'd be quite happy you took a mark there, don't you, after what Lynch did to him a moment ago?
Good for his confidence.
Mick, in your time in footy, what would you suggest to someone in that? Would you rather see him try and do that or try that screw punt kick?
In actual fact, I'd like to see the ball given inside to increase your ability to have a better shot on goal, Robbo. Do the team-orientated thing. Yep.
Brisbane have got the ball all the way down to centre wing. Darryl White's handball. He's had two options there. One was Bradshaw, and he's collected the footy and beat the attempted smother by Wharf. Kicks to full forward, punched away, strong punch, out wide. Tristan Lynch and Maxfield. The race is on now. Maxfield has the front posse and knocks it clear. That's a deliberate, wasn't it? Surely. And that's the way the umpire has seen it. Well, he didn't disguise that at all, Stuart Maxfield, so the free kick is with Brisbane.
Certainly there, Robbo. No other intention in the mind of Stuart Maxfield, but to get the ball out and try to lift the fight another day.
Lynch to full forward. Scott used his body on Luff, getting back Wharfs. Got a bit of time. He needs it to ruse. Roos keeps it low because he had the momentum to kick it out on the full. White, very clever. Power, round the body, close, good. Very good goal, I reckon. Think the kid's kicked it. Brisbane in front. It's a goal. Robbo, as you said last night, when the goal umpire doesn't declare and he takes his time, you just know what's going to come up.
He knows the camera's on him too, Bruce.
Good kick. White again, important, but good kick by this kid.
And like the captain going to him too, Mick. I mean, that's terrific stuff. He's only a young boy, about be 18, I suppose, coming out of the under 18 competition just over the summer, and it's great to see him get a goal on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's so important for a peripheral type player in the front half forward flanker, become an opportunist.
Brisbane lead by a point. They've kicked 6-4. Sydney have kicked 6-3, and Michael Voss again got the hand pass away, but Cook just bashes it out of there with his left foot down in the area of Nigel Lappin, but taken away by O'Loughlin. Now Kelly, good vision. Maxfield, unselfish to the goal square. O'Brien, snapshot by O'Brien, looks just offline. Well, he's had a couple of chances, Craig O'Brien. He's only been on the ground for a short time, and he's kicked one just short and one through for a behind.
Craig O'Brien, so important to the structure of the Sydney Swans. We've seen him time and time again when Plugger's actually struggling to kick goals and get his hands on the footy. He's the man who pops up and kicks 4 or 5 goals.
Good kick by Lynch and a good mark by Kennedy under pressure from O'Loughlin. Scores level here. Lappin kicks the ball to centre half forward. Front spot there was Lepich. McPherson wide to Luff. A couple of blokes that didn't play a whole lot of AFL footy last year. Luff to centre wing. Mooney started very well. He's had a quiet patch. That was clever enough. Kicks the ball on now. Schwass. Will he give the little one? Back to Mooney. Back to Schwass. Not sure Mooney meant it. It was clever enough. Lovely kick by Schwass inside. Wolf waiting. Back to Schwass. We're going to see a lot of this. They'll use him. Kicks the ball beautifully into the centre to Nix. Setting something up. Lockett's in the goal square. Nix could nearly reach him. O'Loughlin's down there as well. Lockett goes to the pocket. Nix kicks it out in front. Very good kick. He's got it, the big plugger. Good setup. McPherson, I should say. Thanks, Robbo. McPherson in the centre. Terrific kick to Lockett. Now, this is the distance that's been worrying Plugger since the groin problems in the last couple of years, when he stretches himself out to about 45 to 50.
He's one player that usually gets his leg right through the momentum of the ball, Bruce, but since he's had that groin operation, he seems to lean back a little bit further, and once you lean back and your head isn't directly over the line of the ball, you do tend to hook the ball quite often.
Another Ballarat boy, Mickey.
Yeah, oh yeah, what a good man this bloke is.
Even if you didn't think it, you'd say it, Mickey. Let's see how well he kicks it. Hasn't got it, and that was marked on the line, so... Was it a behind? It's a behind. 6-5 to 6-4.
So that penetration just isn't there, Bruce, at the moment. And obviously it's a groin problem because once fatigue or a bit of a weakness sets in that part of the ground, because that's where you've got to be strong to get that impetus through the line of the ball. And that's where one thing Plugger is certainly struggling with at the moment.
6 years ago, he would have been 5s on from there. And today he's about 5 to 4 against.
And we would have took 5s on too.
We would have, Mick, you and I.
The kick in has been marked by Buse. Buse hooks the kick close to the boundary line. Darryl White doing very well, Darryl White. John Stevens, the man minding the mark for Sydney, goes very close to the line again, and well, probably trying to keep possession. Chris Scott just acknowledging that he did provide the lead, but there wasn't really a great chance. It was squeezed right up against the boundary line.
It's been terrific discipline by Chris Scott, because you are actually getting Paul Roos out of the territory he's familiar with. He's presenting himself all the time, and that's one thing Roos has got to do, really play on him in that part of the ground.
And the ball taken away in the finish there by Black, close to the line. Voss and Darren Cresswell, two very good players for their respective teams. Michael Voss, of course, a Brownlow medalist. Darren Cresswell, a best and fairest winner here at Sydney. Sydney lead by a point. Stafford just jostles and then gets the front posse and bangs it forward, but still over the line, about 15 metres closer to his team's goal.
Bit of Craig Lambert about this kid, isn't it? Just the look of it.
Yeah, yep.
Just before that previous boundary throw-in, young Johnny Stevens come off and was replaced by Stephen Carey.
So a runner by Tall here. Clark belts it forward, gains about 15-20 metres, out of play.
Gone back to where it went in from just a moment ago.
So 41-40. See Stephen Lawrence there on the interchange bench. Had a good start to this match. He's had 8 possessions. Stafford, Clark front spot. Ashcroft pushing forward. Unobtrusive. It's probably a good term for Ashcroft. He just does a lot of good things over a whole lot of matches and a whole lot of years now for Brisbane. A very good play for him. So for in the first 3 in the best and first. Well, Stafford's just belted it out too. So I don't know if the two ruckmen are having a little contest between themselves at the moment.
Interesting. I'd like to see O'Loughlin become important in the overall context of this game. I would like to see him in the midfield because I think there's not enough Sydney Swans players at this point of time running the lines and creating something out of nothing.
See what happens here. Again, Clark and Stafford building it out. It's almost as if they're... In fact, Stafford just G'd Clark up there. I reckon they're having a little... I reckon they're keeping score here, Robbo, at the moment.
It's a little one-on-one contest, isn't it? But wouldn't you think someone would get to the front there? Because it looks a bit predictable. Now Wharf, Orchard, back to Nix. Nix across his right shoulder, not a bad kick. Kennedy getting back to assist is Ashcroft and taken over the line there by Mooney, appealing for the free kick, not forthcoming, and gee whiz, bit of excitement there. Well, there's nothing much you can do there. The umpire, I think, giving Marcus Ashcroft every chance there, and the boundary umpire being asked to throw it in. Great knock by Mooney, Stafford, Carey. This is set up by Mooney. That boundary throw-in punch was a beauty, and Kelly will shoot for goal.
Just as we witnessed and we spoke about early in the first quarter, Stafford was actually alongside Clark, but what happened, Mooney came in and took the responsibility of taking the actual boundary throw-in. As soon as the ball was in the air, Stafford pushed forward, as we've seen on screen, gets the loose ball, handballs inside to Carey, and what a great finish by a big man.
Well, he's got a lot of talent, Stephen Carey, but that kick by Paul Kelly, not what he would have liked, just a behind.
What's got to happen in that situation now, Robbo? Mooney's direct opponent has got to be aware of that. He's got to go to where Stafford makes his starting point, so you make it a one-on-one situation all around the ground.
So Lynch to himself and runs away through the right back pocket.
Sydney by 2 points here, 6-6 to 6-4. Out wide, Black just froze a bit. I thought he might have been looking for the umpire's whistle or something. For Kelly, I should say. Back to O'Loughlin in close quarters. Back to Kelly. Tries to get it through. Lappin held it up. Kelly again. Black underneath it. Handball out towards Lappin. And also Cook. Well done, Orchard, to get across in front. Clark, okay. Hughes didn't take it cleanly. Got a high tackle. Clark pushes forward. White, who'll try and make the footy talk for him. Walk, well done. Carey. There's good pressure here. Both teams having a real battle to get clean possession. Over the top, Bradshaw, also power. Orchard getting involved. Bounce, centre square, 42-40.
Great pressure by both sides there.
That's what you call an arm wrestle, I think, for about a minute there, isn't it? From both teams. No space for anyone, was there? And just couldn't create anything. So there's been a low-scoring quarter. Sydney's kicked 1 goal. In fact, Sydney hasn't kicked a goal. Excuse me, they've kicked 4 behinds. And Brisbane's kicked 2-1, and we're deep into it. Tristan Lynch, forced to go wide. McPherson back, got a cruel bounce. Akamanis with him, uses his pace. McPherson's tackle okay. Forced the handball error. Clever kick by Orchard, had nowhere really to go. Banged it along the line, gained a bit of ground, out of play. So the Swans without a goal in this second term.
That oval ball just doesn't bounce properly for you sometimes. McPherson in very good position in front, leading in the race for the ball, and it bounces to the advantage of the player coming from behind in Jason Akamanis. Clark gets his hand on it. Schwass, not much room to move in. Nix quickly. Cook, McPherson, grab, tackle, caught with the ball. Must be a free kick to young Luke Power, surely.
Great to see a young player with all the defensive attributes, especially when he plays in the forward part of the ground.
Well, he had the ball and he was well tackled and eventually penalised for not moving it quickly enough. Black in towards full forward, too high there for Lepich. At the back, in the pocket, Dion Scott goes back to Ashcroft, across his left shoulder to the goal square, and it's kicked away by Cresswell.
And banged away, Robbo. Good distance. Schwass almost at half back. An important ball here with a couple on a couple, and Maxfield's won it and kicks the ball inside 50. O'Loughlin caught underneath it, did beautifully. What a silky play to Mooney. Kick a goal, Jason, it deserves it. Drills it. O'Loughlin, you star. What a player. Mooney doing the finish. 7-6 to 6-4.
Well, that certainly typifies what class is all about, Bruce. But what about the build-up here? So important to keep your feet in a situation like that. Bradshaw went to ground. The recovery of Maxfield was terrific. He looked and assessed his option, kicked to a one-on-one contest, gave O'Loughlin the opportunity and the advantage. But great poise, great know-how. When to release the ball, gave it off to Mooney, and Mooney ran into an open goal and kicked it accurately.
Well, he was in the middle of that passage of play, Stuart Maxfield, but right now he's moved pretty quickly to the bench to speak to the cockroach, Rodney Eade. 7-6 plays, 6-4. The Swans lead by 8 points with just over 4 minutes left in the first half. The ruck contest still goes in favour of Clark, but the Swans are going to take the ball away. Stafford recovers quickly from that ruck contest, kicks it across the ground for a boundary throw-in on centre wing. Greg Stafford, who has been a contributor, he's kicked 2 goals late in the first term. Plenty of Swans fans come out to play on Saturday night here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Just a beautiful night. Clark again, taken away by Nix. Hand pass was reasonably effective. Voss spins out of trouble. Gee, he's got a strong body, hasn't he, Michael Voss? Little left foot kick out there in front of young O'Brien. Across his left shoulder, sit underneath that and play fair, and he did. He did it good, didn't he, young Black? Well done. And the kick into the forward line, Leppich couldn't take the mark. Dunkley's certainly got on top back there in the certainly in this quarter and the latter part of the first term when Leppich looked dangerous, kicking a couple of goals early in the game.
It's a crowd, Robert. Lovely touch a moment ago. O'Brien just said to Black, sorry, mate, about the kick, but didn't Black show some G and
it certainly
B there?
Was, yeah. To sit underneath that, it was terrific stuff. Stafford in front. Voss, not quite quick enough. Well, you wouldn't have said that, but he's had a knee injury. He's recovered pretty well, but just half a yard there on Michael Voss, and he might have had a snapshot at goal. It's been knocked clear again by Wayne Schwass for a boundary throw-in as Chris Johnson eagerly awaits his opportunity to get back in there at the expense of Luke Power.
And Black still running with Kelly, so that is an interesting matchup. Black in his second game against one of the most celebrated footballers in the competition. Wharfs, Hamble, Orchard run down at the back. So it's another boundary throw. And we've seen plenty of those in front of the 7 commentary position here at the SCG. Stafford going forward again, and Kennedy there. Interchange bench, saw Trent Bartlett there, who hasn't had much of a run. Came on for about a minute in the first quarter. Mooney is pretty effective at these boundary throw-ins. O'Brien legged in the end, threw it away. White just looking for some space. Johnson, that's good. Carter's give, very good. Black, who's a left footer naturally, kicks it over the top. Dunkley belts away back to Black. Black, has he got the carry? He has. And well done to Scott. Scott, interesting. Very interesting. Back to Lynch. Well, Scott was about 25 metres out on about a 60-degree angle. You'd reckon that's a gimme, wouldn't you?
I think he might have thought he was about 20 to 1 and drifting, whereas this guy's about even money.
Well,
Dion Scott all the same is a pretty good kick for goal.
I would have backed him, Mick. Have a look. Well, Lynch is straight in front. He should goal, but he's a bit further out. It's floating. It's floating. He's missed it. Well, easy to be wise after the event, isn't it? If we were all wise after the event, we would have all backed Proud today. So there we go. Tristan Lynch misses. And it's 7-6 to 6-5, but it's a pretty bad miss at the end. 7
points is the advantage with Sydney. Lynch beaten for it on this occasion by Barry. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Leo Barry for Sydney at left half back. Goes over the wing. High flyers required, but O'Loughlin at ground level. Schwass and Ashcroft. Still a chance there. Mooney and O'Loughlin combine. O'Loughlin close to the line. Little kick. O'Brien.
That's what you call awareness, Robbo.
Well, it's awareness, and he's prepared to give it off, isn't he? I mean, even the mark that he took a few minutes ago, which we really acclaimed, but he was prepared to give that hand pass to Mooney, and on this occasion, again, to Craig O'Brien, set shot from about 30 metres out. Just a slight angle, slips across to the right and misses.
Lockett and O'Brien have had 5 shots for goal in this quarter and kicked 4 points. That was when you would have acted. O'Loughlin just breaks the line so quickly, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does cover ground pretty well, but his skill use and his ball use with hand and feet are exciting to watch.
So misses at either end here. Tristan Lynch missed straight in front. And O'Brien missed one that wasn't a whole lot harder. So some inaccuracy in this term. It's 7-7 Sydney. They've kicked 1-5 so far in this quarter, and Brisbane has managed 2 goals too. So goals have been hard. We saw the interchange bench there for the Lions. 4 interchange players in the Coca-Cola AFL Premiership competition for the first time this season. Been in the Answer Cup for a couple of years. Carter unhappy. O'Brien is a feisty customer.
Interesting that situation then, Bruce, with that boundary thrown. O'Brien went to the contest and Buse stood about 15 to 20 metres off it. I think in that situation you have to play one-on-one and know where your direct opponent is.
Voss clever. Buse gets it to White. White also to Ashcroft. Some good defensive play there by the Lions, and not a bad kick by Ashcroft. Johnson front spot at centre wing. So Chris Johnson, who probably needs a big match tonight. Akamanis. Now they set it up. They can go wide. White. Mooney was quick to get on the mark and put his hands up to stop it. White's kicked the full forward. Leppich on the lead. Good, courageous play there by Barry to cut across in front of Leppich. And he's earned a free kick. Shown a lot of guts there, because Leppich, that was a good kick coming into Leppich. And Barry's, against the tide, so to speak, was able to come across and cut it off, because he knew his fullback was in trouble. McPherson, here is the fullback to Dunkley, who's had a very good game, as Mickey said, after Leppich had him early. Back to Barry. Barry, a penetrating kick to fall forward. Lynch missed it. Goes to ground. Handball out by Black. Swannies with a chance. Getting in there was O'Brien. Lockett was on hands and knees. Lappin under pressure. Kicks the ball wide and with more power than you'd expect. And kicks the ball out of bounds on the full.
Don't think it'll make much difference, Bruce. He's too far out to score, and the siren to finish the first half is imminent.
So Carey belts it in. And well, there might have been time for a mark, but there wasn't one taken. So Sydney leads at half-time. And the quarter was almost a stalemate, wasn't it? Brisbane made a dash at Sydney. Sydney steadied up towards the end, and at half-time they led 7-7 to 6-5. Clip, wasn't it? We saw the very best of him in what's been an excellent first half. So at half-time here, as we start the second half of the SCG before a very big crowd, Sydney leads 7-7 to 6-5. But I think we all think up here that this is very much a live game. The Lions are in this with a big chance. They need a good start to the third quarter. Ashcroft, who's been pretty good, kicks to half forward. Power, well done, got to the front. He's a left footer. Hooks the ball back to the goal square almost. Leppich front spot, Dunkley. Bit of body strength. Luff concedes. It's a behind. Brisbane go to 6-6. Sydney 7-7. John Northey and Rodney Eade, both in their third seasons at these respective clubs, and had very similar careers so far at these two clubs. Northey, of course, a long-time coach, but had terrific years in 96 and a bit below par in 1997. Kick in by Nix. Outside 50, Stafford. Clark with him. Ashcroft and Tristan Lynch. Lynch back to Black, who's very impressive. Back to Ashcroft. Voss sets. Couldn't quite get over the top of Dunkley. He's a hard man to get over. Schwass terrific to Creswell to Stevens.
And he certainly set it up here, Schwass. Creswell's run on to take the hand pass and then give it off again to Schwass. He's got a player on his own out wide. It's a little too high for Maxfield, but the second player in line was O'Brien, and he's marked on his chest. He's too far out to score, but he's going to kick it into the danger area as far as Brisbane are concerned. In front of goal. Chance here for Leo Barry. Little hand pass is good. In goes Kelly. And Kelly has got the first goal of the second half. Second goal to Paul Kelly. 8th goal to Sydney. And they lead by 13 points.
That build-up all started by Wayne Schwass's attack on the footy in the back half. Released the ball into the centre corridor. Good play by Johnny Stevens, who gave the run to Creswell, but look at Schwass in the corner of the screen. He ran from the back pocket to the centre wing, and he's assessed his options perfectly well.
It's been busy O'Brien too, hasn't he?
He just offers that extra leading forward. He does start deep alongside Lockett, but does get up the ground at the right moment.
So good give by Barrett, and Kelly, who kicked 2 in Adelaide last week and 2 so far tonight. So 4 so far for the season for him. Ruse on the wing at the start of this quarter. Chris Scott still with him. 8-7 to 6-6. Black out after it with him, Creswell. Such an important player, Creswell. He's a real hard nut. Goes forward again. Kennedy can't break the tackle. It was a good one. That came from Barry, who's having a good match. Punch forward by Mooney. Back with Black. Kennedy with him, Mooney. And it's going to be a bounce. So it's 8-7 to 6-6 here. Swans, who lost their opening 2 matches of the 1997 season. They were beaten in Perth and then lost at Optus to the Western Bulldogs. And they've got a chance here to go 2-0. They're favourites going into this match.
The bounce about 50 metres from the Swans' goal, and it was that little bit too high there on Bradshaw, and he'll take the free kick. I know there's probably not a lot of people interested, but the Swans reserves won against Collingwood reserves in an earlier game. They won by 17 points, the Swans. The kick by Bradshaw out wide, getting to the back of the pack is Kelly. Just assesses and then delivers it down the line. That might have been over, was it? On the full it was. Mooney had taken the mark, but well, it was he was looking for precision. Just missed out, did Paul Kelly, and Kennedy takes the free kick for Brisbane. He kicks it right up inside 50 metres. Dion Scott couldn't take the mark. Taken away by McPherson, a high kick out close to the line. Lawrence wanted the footy, made it his, then kicked it into the pocket. Little too high there for Nigel Lappin. Swooping on it was Ackermanis, gathered by Nix for the Swans. Now Stevens runs away from that right half back area and then kicks high into the centre of the ground. Getting back was Voss, couldn't take the mark, gathers, gets the hand pass away to Darryl White. Great vision out wide to Tristan Lynch. Could be a goal coming up here for Brisbane. Lynch takes it back from Power. Lynch from 50, good vision again, unselfishly, and the short pass has nearly made a certainty of it. Lepic is marked only 20 metres out, directly in front.
Back in the centre part of the ground, Robbo, we've seen the ability of two great players with great awareness. Firstly, Voss, who held his ground on the tackle but kept his hands free, handballed it to White, but White's vision, you know, the Aboriginals, they've certainly got a great ability to use real estate.
Well, it has taken quite a few of the Brisbane players to get involved, and Lepic kicks the resulting goal. Justin Lepic has now kicked 3 goals. He has been limited, but we've still got, well, 1 whole quarter and 16 and a half minutes of this quarter left, so he can certainly add to his tally.
Terrific vision, that, Robbo.
Yep.
Tristan Lynch has been one important player in the context of this game. He started centre wing, he ran on again, gave the first handball, but his delivery found Justin Lepic in the central part of the ground.
So Kelly's goal answered by Lepic here, and we tighten up again at 8-7 to 7-6. Hasn't been much between the two teams all night. Lawrence out of the centre, trying to get it out to White. Again goes in hard, Lawrence. Kelly starting to have a big impact to full forward. Lockett, Alistair Lynch did well just to body Lockett underneath it and through for a behind. So Kelly starting to really grow as this match goes on. He's had 11 kicks and 4 handballs, Kelly.
It is an interesting call, Bruce. He is starting to show that experience is a very big thing in football, and also your capacity to work throughout the course of the game.
Interestingly, the young fella playing on him, Simon Black, has had 9 and 3, so he's getting his share of the footy.
Alistair Lynch kicks the ball a long way, well outside 50. Roos up there, Clark got his hands on it. Chris Scott, who's had a tagging role really with Roos, back to Ashcroft. White again, well done, back to Clark. Scott steadies through the centre, wants Lawrence, has got him. Good build up here. Lappin can break a line, kicks cleverly to Scott, full forward, and again a very clean build up by the Lions. Their second one in a couple of minutes. Now Dion Scott should kick this. He kicked a goal in the second quarter. We had a bit of a chuckle about him giving off in the second quarter when he passed the ball to Tristan Lynch when he was about 25 metres out himself, and Lynch actually missed that. Let's see if Scott kicks the goal. That looks pretty good. He's got it. He's kicked 2. Well, Mickey, certainly made the wrong decision now. That short pass to Tristan Lynch, and the Lions right in this at 8-8 to 8-6.
Yeah, they are certainly in this, Bruce, but it's all been about through their build-up through the back half with their hands. Their hands and foot disposal are very good. They've worked on it over the course of their duration since they've been in the competition. But we see here, if you get the ball back into the centre corridor, that's your direct route to goal. It gives your forwards a 3-dimensional phase to lose, and that's the reason why Scott and Lepic have got off their direct opponents.
Well, a terrific setup there for the Brisbane Lions to get their 8th goal through Dion Scott. He has kicked 2 goals himself. Lepic has kicked 3. And a contest at the centre bounce. And Black's in it again. He gets the hand pass away. Lawrence, Chris Scott. Chris Scott's left foot kick to full forward. Well marked back there by Luff. plays on and then kicks high with the left foot. Out wide, Tristan Lynch, good punch away. Ackermanis, kick forward there by Lawrence, but safely marked on his chest by Dunkley for Sydney at cross half back. Awkward kicking style, and this is no exception. It's a wobbly old punt kick there by Andrew Dunkley. Stephen Carey gathers, then gives the hand pass inboard to Nix, in turn to Roos. Roos goes and lands the ball 50 metres from goal. Good mark to Barry. Handball, O'Brien. Straight in goes Craig O'Brien. Point blank range and kicks the goal. Well, Leo Barry had presence of mind there. He was confronted. He did spot his teammate and got away a very effective hand pass in the finish.
Yeah, great play by Berry. He just got Bradshaw underneath the line of the ball. His judgment was far superior. He released the ball inside to O'Brien, and O'Brien can become a multiple goal kicker, that's for sure.
14 and a half minutes left in the third quarter. Craig O'Brien kicks his first goal, and Sydney get their 9th. They lead again by 8 points. They've had a terrific tussle, these two guys, Stafford and Clark. Trying to break away was Chris Scott, and with strength managed to get his left foot to it. Darryl White kicks it pretty well back the other way, 25 metres. Kennedy is marked. Doesn't mind doing that, Darryl White. Kennedy's kick is good. Oh, Voss dropped it. Now this could be critical. The turnover here. Kelly's onto it quickly. Kick ineffective, smothered off the boot. Forced forward again by the Swans to right half forward. Matthew Kennedy just taps it in front of himself and it goes over. We'll have a boundary throw in, Saddington, and that looks like Jason Mooney there in the foreground having a spell on the bench. Swans lead this match by 8 points, and the boundary umpire to throw it in about 80 metres around from the Swans goal.
And again Stafford goes forward, but Brisbane onto it. Kennedy going with him as Carey doing the ruck work. Lawrence has touched the football a fair bit at the start of this half. Handball by Maxwell was too hot for Schwass. Lawrence in there to put a tackle on, and again a ball up. 62-54 here. Biggest margin's probably been a couple of goals all night. Brisbane led early. There's Robbins, who got injured last year, and he was going pretty well with an ankle and hasn't really had a run tonight. Back in the team, one of 6 changes that John Northey made, which is pretty radical, but I think they needed something, Brisbane, after last week, and they've responded positively, haven't they? White's kick, Roos, quick kick away. Back to centre wing, Bradshaw there, good mark by Bradshaw against Barry. Kicked a lot of goals last year, Bradshaw, well over 30 as a forward player, tonight used in defence. Back towards half forward, Lawrence was an excellent performance there. O'Brien over to Voss. Voss's handball under pressure. Roos stood under it, held his ground. Cresswell out wide to Wharf. Voss tries to cut it off with Wharf, and again forcing the ball out of play. So since quarter time, goals have been pretty hard to get. It was 6-4 at quarter time. So we see again Robbins there and Carter with a wry smile. But since quarter time, Sydney's kicked 3 and Brisbane has kicked 4. So been hard to get much flow here. It's been pretty defensive and effective by both clubs.
Certainly has, and Nix gets the hand pass to the back of the pack. Schwass, 1 bounce, 2nd bounce, gets past, 3rd bounce, wide. McPherson runs back inside and then kicks across the half-forward line, and O'Brien, who has been lively, he had a chance in the the second term it was. He had a couple of shots after coming off the bench and kicked a couple of behinds. He's kicked a goal already in this 3rd term, going for his 2nd and Sydney's 10th. O'Brien, shot for goal is offline to the right, 1 goal, 3. Probably doesn't get a lot of touches of the footy, and percentage-wise for Sydney, they'd be requiring him to kick 3 or 4 goals. Lynch to himself and then kicks it out wide. Kelly. Black not too bad there. He's a bit stiff. He never got a free kick, in my opinion. Stevens to Stafford. Stafford wide to Barry. Barry caught with the ball but got it out wide to Stevens. Orchard's there in support. Sweeping hand pass by Orchard to Nix, back to Stafford. Stafford, a flying shot at goal. No, he's put it in the front, and as a free kick, it's against Buse. It'll go to O'Brien. right in front of goal on the end of the square.
Just goes to show the importance of giving the ball when you do centre it like Greg Stafford did. It does make the defensive players sort of over-finesse in that tight situation when you're only 10 metres out from goal. And here we see a resultant free kick to Craig O'Brien.
Well, surely he'll kick this. And he does. He's kicked two, Craig O'Brien.
Both in this quarter, and he's giving Busey some problems, isn't he? And now Sydney get away to a handy break at 10-9 to 8-6.
Good build-up again by Sydney Swans, but we just see here the importance of giving the ball some elevation in front of goal. Great team play by Greg Stafford.
So the Swans making a move here, 10-9 to 8-6. Kicked the last two goals, and now Brisbane have got to get one back to stay right in touch. Kelly out of the centre, pushing forward, wide underneath, takes a good mark to Lappin. Lappin at half-back. Will he use Voss short? Does. Lappin, Voss and White have probably got to get a whole lot of the footy in the second half for Brisbane to win, because they're very constructive. Akamanis, he was looking for Leppich. Power and Stafford. Stafford clever to Schwass, couldn't quite get a handle on it, went to go off the ground. Lawrence did very well to Kennedy. Kennedy's handball okay. Lappin long, strong and good. Goal. It's a powerful kick off the left, isn't it? Excellent build-up, and still Brisbane hang in.
And I'd say one of the reasons why he gets a bit of peer group approval here, Stephen Lawrence.
Great courage.
In this situation here, that was terrific stuff. He set it up.
He is a hard nut at the ball, there's no doubt about that, young Lawrence, but once again we've seen the great ability of Nigel Lappin. We know he's a great ball user on his dominant side, but the effectiveness of having a shot 45 metres out from goal on the opposite side, but more importantly the conversion was there.
It was a good finish there by a state player last year, Nigel Lappin. Clark gets his right fist to it, but only as far as Schwass.
Lockett's in the ruck, by the way, Robert.
Schwass to full forward. Carey couldn't quite take the mark. Little kick out of there by Buse, and fortunately for Brisbane, it's been marked by Voss. He's still behind the centre. He kicks it out wide. Player on his own out there is Darryl White. Looks to kick short. He's still got the footy. Quite easily gets past Barry, then kicks up towards full forward. Providing the contest there was Leppich, but the ball's going to come rebounding back. Stafford's kick close to the line. Roos can't quite get there, and the boundary umpire will throw it in pretty close to centre wing, between wing and left half forward, favouring Brisbane, as young Saddington has a bit of a chat on the telephone there to the coach. There's Big Plugger, and the fans are alight here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. They watch the big bloke go into the ruck against Clark.
Lawrence, interesting move to try and get him involved in the match. Nicks, a bounce, runs, kicks to half forward, clever kick. Kelly's done really well here to get the run of it. Barges through, can he kick it, Kelly? This will be a beauty. Don't they love him? He's very special, this fellow. He's a burster, isn't he? And Mickey, I just wonder, late in his career, if he could add goals to his tally. He's not a big goal kicker, and suddenly he's kicked 5 goals this season already.
Yeah, well, he is so important. It was interesting the set play existed then. Lockett went to the ruck. Straight away, Kelly went forward and put his physical presence. He released the tag of Black, went to the forward line, played on Lynch, but what an important player he is to the Sydney outline.
Say that again, Mick. What an important player he is to Sydney.
He is so important. He's just courage all over. Every ounce of his body is just full of himself. He just wants to commit himself every time. He's a terrific player.
Even the hairs on the back of your neck. They have to stand up when you watch Paul Kelly go after the footy. And Voss trying hard at the centre. Lawrence to Akamanis. Akamanis goes straight towards goal. 1-on-2. This favours the Swans. Taken by Luff, and he runs away from the full-back area. Kicks it out wide. And the mark taken there by Nicks. He plays on. Darryl White. Look at that. Magnificent ball skills. Left the ball behind. Hatched it, basically. Saddington, well done. Gets the ball to Cresswell. Cresswell down the line. Carey. And he's taken the mark. Certainly will be paid from behind Kennedy. The kick favouring the Swans player, Stephen Carey. 15 points is the advantage again. Schwass gets into the action in front of Big Plugger. Schwass goes straight down towards goal. Marking contest down there. O'Loughlin from behind couldn't take the mark. A real struggle for possession here in front of the Swans goal. The umpire's still allowing play to go on. Still no whistle. Like a rugby scrummage there. Now it comes out wide. Gathering the football is Alistair Lynch. Gives away a little bit of meterage. Back to Lappin, and Lappin down the line. The mark is taken there by Buse.
Very important here that Brisbane stand up in the next few minutes. Sydney making its move here, leading by 2.5 goals. Plugger over the top of it. He'll deliver. Does. Inside to Schwass. Schwass having a birthday. McPherson got it from Nix to full forward. O'Loughlin in the pocket. Running out of room. Boundary throw-in. And contest there between two young guns in Lappin and O'Loughlin. Look at this Kelly goal. It was fabulous to watch. Broke the tackle, pumped it through, and was pumped up. Boundary throw in. Swannies moving hard here against Brisbane. Buse backhands it. Probably should have taken it. Stevens, 45 metres out, front of the square. Job. O'Loughlin's got it. Beautiful mark. Going backwards. He's in the pocket. Now he went to give up. He's been called play on. So he just leans back and hits the post. Bad luck. But the signs are good right now for Sydney.
Yeah. Great play here by O'Loughlin. He got his direct opponent, Nigel Lappin, underneath the flight of the footy. He kept his eyes. He just knew when to push off at the right moment. Unfortunately, the goal wasn't scored. But it's interesting to see what Brisbane Lions will do now, merely because Lockett's gone into the ruck. What are they going to do with Alistair Lynch? Does he play on him and off him and use his endurance or his ability to run to space, or does he stay in the back and defensive part of the ground?
Well, the kick in by Marcus Ashcroft has found Bradshaw. Bradshaw, good kick, but Darryl White not able to take the mark. Gathered here by O'Brien. Left foot kick by that player to the centre half forward area. Good hand pass there by Power. And the kick is close. It might be a goal. No, it's just... Yes, it is a goal. Scott's kicked the goal. Well, not much cheering, which is fair enough because there'd be more Swan supporters here by a mile than fans for the Brisbane side. But well done by Power to get it to Scott, and he kicked the goal.
Actually, Lappin and Scott have kicked a couple of handy goals against the Tide here, haven't they? From a long way out. They're still in this, Brisbane. Lions showing a lot of fortitude here, hanging in. Chris Scott and also Nigel Lappin getting goals against the Tide here, against the Swans. And 11-10 to 10-6. Sydney can't shake them off, can't get any sort of a winning break. Schwass from the centre, builds it back inside 50 again. A lot of body work. Barry, free kick there against O'Brien. And coming back to Lynch. O'Brien and Buse getting involved. And Lynch, O'Brien probably just got in the back of Lynch there, with Busey at the back. So Lynch, who has done well on Lockett, and as Mick McGuan said a moment ago, what do Brisbane do with him? Do they run him up the ground with Lockett, or do they keep him at the back, where he's done the job? Clark presents himself to Black. With him is Schwass, and it's going to be a boundary throw in.
Like that young Black. He's got a lot of spirit.
Well, Power, Black and O'Brien, John North, you'd have to be pretty happy with the three of them.
Yes, they've all had a bit of a dip at it. Yep.
So still plenty of time in this third quarter. Nearly 7 minutes. Black, Nix, little kick away. Now Lynch has gone forward here. Brisbane can get the footy. They've got a chance. He's going to Sydney, and Lynch is right down the ground. Barry's kick to O'Brien's good. God, beautiful mark. No, not pay. Play on. Hughes to Clark. Now Lynch is a long way from Clark, but he's all on his own in the centre square. He's probably 2 kicks away. Clark slow to move it. Voss got it. Paid. Now they've picked Lynch up, so Voss is now going to go to Lynch. He's got a man on him. Lynch was outnumbered in the end. Dion Scott, clever. So's Power, trying to keep it in. Sydney with the numbers. McPherson runs over the line. Boundary throwing. 10 points the difference here. So quarter time it was 11. At half time 8. Back to 10. So I thought AB might have marked this, but perhaps I was jumping the gun. Oh, he had a fair bit of it, didn't he? Ball coming out as he hit the deck.
They haven't got the best of it because Luff wasn't paid a mark earlier in the game that we looked as though it should have been. Lynch, good hand pass to O'Brien. O'Brien's kick into the square puts a bit of pressure on the defender in Dunkley. Leppich doesn't do too bad in the circumstances and forces a rush behind to the Brisbane team. 11-10, 10-7. 9 points is the margin in favour of Sydney. And a little bit of casual list here because Marcus Ashcroft might pick this off and just might kick a goal. Well, it was rather sloppy play there by, I think it was McPherson that kicked it in, and chipping in. Watch McPherson here kick the ball into the pocket, and quickly onto that situation was Marcus Ashcroft. So 10 out of 10 to Ashcroft for that passage of play. Lockett, Plugger, whatever you like. If you put them together, you get... well, there he is on the bench at the moment anyway. He's got the blood rule, poor old Tony Lockett at the moment, so we believe. And
what were you thinking of, Robbo?
Just leave it at Lockett, I think, at this stage, Bruce.
He might watch the tape. 11-10 to 11-7, so the Lions right back. 3 points of difference here. Coming back strongly. Kelly to Wharf. Next 5 minutes, critical in this match. Nix, outside 50, delivers to the front of the goal square, wanting a high mark. Lynch decided to belt it away to Tristan Lynch, caught, threw it up. O'Loughlin couldn't quite get a run at it. Taken now by Buse, who hasn't had the best of nights. Buse belts it onto the boot, gets some distance. McPherson and Power. Power works his way into a reasonable position. Still Power, beautifully done. Leppich, now some finesse needed here. He does it inside, and Brisbane with a chance to hit the front late in the third quarter. Chris Scott at about 50. Brooksy, what about Plugger, mate?
From here, looks like he might have bitten his tongue, actually, and he's getting plenty of attention, and they're trying to mop it up. Obviously a hard area to fix up, and they're doing a lot of work on stretching that right quad into the groin area as well, so he's a little bit uncomfortable at the moment, Plugger.
And Dion Scott has taken a very sound mark and back to Leppich, and Leppich can kick from about 25 metres out. Brisbane have beaten Sydney 7 of the last 8 times they've played one another, and 2 of the last 3 here in Sydney. Now, they started as outsiders after round 1, big outsiders, but they've got a chance to hit the front here just before three-quarter time. Leppich with 3. Should go. 25 metres out. Well, that's a disappointing result. It's easy to be critical, but we saw Anthony Rocker last night in Perth miss 3 shots in the third quarter.
They are goals you have to kick.
And
Robbo?
Michael Lloyd said last night, you've got to go back a bit further and take a few more steps to just settle yourself in line for the goals that you're aiming at.
Yeah, you have to be balanced when you have to execute the ball. And it's so important for key forwards in that part of the ground to kick them when they're counted.
Well, they did have a chance there to wrench away the lead, Brisbane. Ackermanis into the middle of the ground. It's taken by Voss. And he's been pretty good, Michael Voss. Pass towards full forward. Over the head there of Dion Scott. Left behind by Wharf. The football's pretty hot. Black, Ashcroft. In goes Luke Power, and they are in front. Luke Power has kicked his second goal to give the lead to Brisbane. There's 3.5 minutes left in the third term. The Brisbane fans waving the flags in jubilation. The game is far from over, but Brisbane are taking it right up to Sydney here at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
2 young players, yeah, Black, especially in traffic, he kept his head, he assessed his options in that situation, released the ball, and on the end of it was Power. And as we've seen throughout the course of the night, he is a young player, a quality finisher, and he's going to be a very exciting player for the Brisbane Lions.
3 goals to Brisbane in a row, and suddenly goals have become a bit easier later in this third quarter, and the Swans are going to have to respond. Kelly to Nix. Nix floats one inside 50. Different forward structure here with no Lockett. And Lynch, Alistair's had a big night. Belts it back to O'Brien. These rookies have been good. O'Brien turned his man inside out and then kicks the ball inside 50. Chris Scott back to McPherson. That's very sloppy. Chris Scott again. Couldn't get the handball away. Cresswell, who the Swans would hope would get a fair bit of the footy in the last term, ruse over the line. So McPherson a bit sloppy there. And Sydney under pressure. There's Power. 2 goals tonight, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. Here's the great one. Lockett, who hit his... laugh. Unbelievable. Lepic, misses. Well, you can't believe it. The orange roughie missed a couple. But Luff's kicked the ball into the man on the mark from the kicker. Let's have a look. It's good get by Lepic. Didn't try and fool the umpire, trying to make it 10 metres. Went back, snapped over the shoulder, and misses. So Luff's going to have to be more careful. It's 12-10 to 11-10. Black, big fly. Dunkley wobbles one to centre wing. Carey and also Kennedy. Not a whole lot of hair between those two, is there? Kennedy, Carey off the ground. Bradshaw got a hand on it, pretty critical. Well done though by Barry. Carey, hard out abused. Brisbane again, their defence has stood up extremely well. Back to Mooney, to O'Brien. They need a clean handball. Chance for Maxfield, he's a left footer. Maxfield against the flow. Nix can kick the goal. Round the body, close. Might have got it. It's very close, I reckon he has. It's all square at the SCG. Big finish coming up, isn't it? 12-10 apiece.
They certainly are working hard for their goals at the moment, the Sydney Swans, but they finessed in this situation. O'Brien handballed forward when you have to do in that situation. Didn't try to create something out of nothing, but it was the handball that was released there to Nix, and what a great finish that was, kicking across his body.
Johnson onto the ground for Brisbane. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Just might be loose for a couple of seconds here, Chris Johnson. If they can get hold of the footy, he's going to get a touch, and he might even kick a goal. That kick by Tristan Lynch, not good, but Johnson is into the action. He goes from deep in the right forward pocket across the face of goal, and that is a free kick against Lepic. It will be taken by Dunkley on the full back line.
Now that is an undisciplined act of play, I believe, Robbo.
Could have kept the football there if he'd have just been a little bit cooler in the situation, but Roger Merritt down on the interchange bench, and we'll have another look. It's a nothingness, isn't it?
Yeah, nothing certainly comes out of that situation. Only a free kick to the opposition.
Clark working very hard. He is the basic sole ruckman for Brisbane. Darryl White trying to gather. And football a little elusive there. Well done by Saddington to Stafford. Stafford kicks it forward to centre-half forward, and the mark is taken by Leo Barry. Handball off. Mooney, left foot kick to full forward. O'Loughlin. Move the ball quickly. You immediately put the defence under enormous pressure.
Bruce spoke about the restructuring of the Sydney Swans forward line since Lockett's come off the ground. It is O'Loughlin that's gone to the full forward position. He's starting deep and allowing his leg speed to get into space. And as we've seen on that in that situation, he got up the ground, he got the break, and the delivery was very good.
Now, has he got blood or... No. What's happening here? The umpire...
Can't kick it, I don't think.
Has he sent someone off here? There's the big ruckman... Clark is coming off.
And Cook's come on. Now, I don't think O'Loughlin can take the kick. So McPherson's going to take it for him. I think that's what's happening, Robbo. O'Loughlin's hurt himself, and he must feel as if he's in a bit of trouble because he's going to come straight off the ground. That's a blow to the Swans.
Looks like a hamstring, Bruce. He's grabbing the left leg up fairly high, and in that situation, it is a hamstring up, up in your buttock area.
So that could be a key moment in this match. So Brooksy's down there, so hopefully Neil will be able to get some information. Not too often you see Plugger come off the interchange at this time in a match as he comes on. Big kick here, Robbo, from McPherson.
Yes, and he has muffed a couple of situations in this quarter, so his confidence might be down, but he's kicking from pretty well straight in front, and he's missed.
Confidence is a big thing, Robbo. It is a minute-by-minute situation, but in situations like that, you have to get back to your technique, and McPherson is a very good quick in general play, but once you get in front of goals, it's amazing how certain players do lack a little bit of confidence.
And, Plugger's on the ground, and O'Loughlin did just come off the ground. Neil Brooks, can you bring us up to date?
Yeah, he put his hand on the buttock area, the gluteus maximus, if you like. I think that's what Gerard Healy would say, but it doesn't appear to be a hamstring. Hopefully they'll just work on it and get him out there shortly, but it didn't look like a hamstring initially.
Kennedy's kick, Lappin, half back, 12-11 to 12-10, so point the difference. Swans have led at every change, but each of the margins has been under 2 goals, between 1 and 2. Cresswell's high kick, Stafford got caught underneath it, and Dion Scott against Cook there. Superior height, very late now in the third quarter. It's been an outstanding term, toing and froing. Lockett again getting back in defence. Maxfield across the ground, terrific kick. One last effort here for the Swans. Mooney away, they can score here. Goes on to Saddington, left foot, tries to balance up, getting back there. Bradshaw goes to ground. Opportunity, no. Barry, it just slipped through those old fingers. He's had a good match, Barry. Boundary throw in. And there's the O'Loughlin situation where they're giving him a good old stretch. He must have really felt it tighten up on him. He came straight off the ground and couldn't take his kick. So the boundary throw in, seconds remaining. Can they get a kick away? Left foot by Schwass. Left foot by Schwass. This will be interesting as a goal. Is it going to count? The umpire's coming in. I think it is. It's a goal. Wayne Schwass, a grandstand performance at the end of the third quarter. What a fairy tale first match he's having for the Sydney Swans. He's kicked 2 goals down at that end of the ground, and that one was right on the buzzer. Getting knocked out in the title fight when the siren sounds. 13-11 to 12-10 at three-quarter time. 3's on and 2-1 at the start of the game. It's probably 6-4 on and evens now. This is an even money match.
Yeah, very hard to pick the winner, I'd say.
First goal critical, because if the Sydney get it, they kick 2 and a bit in front. That Schwass goal counts for a lot, but if Brisbane get it, well, we're right back to even Stevens. And Luke Power taking off at half-back, and Voss quickly kicks Sydney, Brisbane into attack. McPherson, who hasn't had the best of nights, wobbles at the centre wing, looking for Schwass, who's been one of the absolute stars. He's had 19 kicks, 5 handballs, and kicked 2 goals. See O'Loughlin in the background there.
Interesting, for the first part of tonight's game, they've pushed Darryl White forward to try to get an extra scoring power in Brisbane Lions front half.
And O'Brien picking up Schwass. Voss building forward. Philandia has had a quiet one. Ashcroft, it looks like he's going to run with Kelly in this last quarter. So subtle changes around the oval here. Ashcroft has had a lot of the football, and so has Kelly. 20 touches Ashcroft, and Kelly 21. 2 of the most experienced players on their respective teams. Stafford, Lawrence, Kelly, Cook, who's had a quiet night because he's been on the interchange for most of it. Ashcroft, who's good in close, isn't he? Trying to get that out. Cook, well done. Chopped it off, kept it in close, and again, it's going to be a bounce.
There's a lot of that goes on in footy today, Bruce. You know, the boys are just so conscious of not allowing that ball to clear the congestion and give the opposition the opportunity to go down the ground uncontested. 19 minutes is left. We've just started this last term, and the boys in the ruck, Clark and Stafford. Chris Scott having a spell. We did see him at three-quarter time getting, looked like back stretching exercises. At the back, Voss, no one really to give it to. Little kick by Johnson, couldn't do much more than that. Leppich, tackled by Orchard, ball spills for a throw-in. 89 plays 82, no addition to the three-quarter time score as yet. Boundary throw in 50 metres from the Brisbane goal. Robbins, Bartlett and Carter presently on the bench. That ruck contest, the ball spills for Lawrence. His kick towards full forward, well done by Dion Scott. Just got bruised completely out of the marking contest and has taken it on his chest. He'll shoot for goal.
That is terrific play by Lawrence. He didn't get sucked into the contest, the boundary throw, and he did get back from about 15-20 metres from the actual contest. The loose ball came to him. He gave himself time to settle up, and his execution on his left side gave Scott an opportunity to have a shot on goal.
Well, Dion Scott, can he kick a goal? No, he can't. He can kick it behind. And a disappointing result for Brisbane fans. Troy Luff, Stewie Maxfield, stretching exercises as McPherson prepares to kick the ball back into play for Sydney.
So Dion Scott and Leppich, the key forwards, have kicked 5 between them. Missed a couple. Voss cut it off. Couldn't quite take it with him. Cook through the centre. Schwass, good effort against O'Brien. He's a long thumping kick here, Schwass. Taking off is Mooney. Schwass is going to go to him in the pocket. Mooney stretching wide. Got it. It's a good kick. And Mooney was adept enough to take the mark. Now he's a long way from goal. He's about 45 metres with Lappin on the mark. Kicks the ball a fair distance, does Mooney. Gee, Schwass, I reckon Rodney would be sitting up there and thinking, pretty happy with this. Yeah, he'd be rubbing his hands and believing that they've got one of the best recruits, if not the best recruit, of 1998. Mooney, 48 metres out, misses a behind. So Mooney and Dion Scott. Dion Scott's was a lot easier than Mooney's. Mooney, a couple of goals. What's O'Loughlin doing, Brooksy?
Bruce, at this stage, it doesn't look like he'll come back. I don't think they're prepared to risk him at this stage. He's up and down, had a couple of runs, stretches, but you know the body language isn't good.
It's a big call, isn't it? In fact, Robbo and Mickey McGowan talked about it when we were in the break at three-quarter time, whether you'd risk him or not. So Brooksy telling us they probably won't go with O'Loughlin now. Stevens takes on Kennedy and then belts it back to within about 20 metres. Lockett never quite got a crack at it. O'Brien under pressure, Lappin, chance here. Gee, Lawrence showed some courage there because getting down on him was Lockett. And a free kick going to Brisbane. And Lawrence and Lockett behind play there. And Ashcroft hanging on gets the free kick. So, a bit of a stalemate here. 13-12 to 12-10. Brisbane just 8 points behind. Make that 7, 90 to 83.
The awareness of the players in the heat of the moment is just sensational. Their hands and their feet, just fantastic. We watched Michael O'Loughlin there, obviously a little concerned with his injury. He has got the tracksuit top on, which may indicate that he will take no further part. Mooney receives from Cresswell, hooks the kick in towards centre half forward, but the mark is taken there by Bradshaw. So Brisbane trail by 7 points, and it's a winnable game. Both sides still very much in the action here. Well done there by Black. Now he's looking for someone to kick to, and not bad either. And a good mark taken by Power. 55 metres from goal. He goes short, and this gives them the chance because this bloke can kick a footy. Matthew Kennedy from about 45 metres out. So there's a bit of a lull here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. How did he get on his own? That would be a question that would be asked presently in the Swans coach's box as Kennedy shoots for goal and misses. Hooked it off to the left, kicked it behind. 84 plays 90. It's exactly a goal the difference.
Lions coming home well here. The young players got plenty of run in their legs. Schwass to kick it in. Robbo's on the edge of his seat. He was dying to say something, then he just pulled back. Schwass kicks into the 50. Good mark by Dunkley. Strong effort up the ground. Well, the handball's not quite as good. Creswell, Philandia broke one tackle. Uses Orchard. Orchard to try and set something up. To half forward. Barry with him as Lappin. Ball goes to ground. Mooney. Still with Mooney. Beautifully played. Mooney clever to Cook. Thought about it. Was going to go on, but made the right choice. Ackermanis was too close for him to balance up on the left and kick the goal. So Mooney setting it up.
Any anxiety there by the Swans coaching staff when you see Troy Cook take a half a step forward and then you see a loose man further forward that he might have given it off to?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting one, that one, Robbo, but he's done the right thing. He said, well, I'll take the onus, put it on my responsibility and have a shot myself.
He's got it. It's an important one too. Handy lead. Far from a match-winning lead, but a handy break. 14-12 to 12-12, 96 to 84. It's been all right, Mooney.
Yeah, Mooney, every time the ball's come forward, he certainly has presented himself at the ball carrying. It's so important for a player playing at centre half forward or across the half forward line. When you do present yourself more often than not, it's amazing how you do often get the ball.
So a little break for the Swannies.
So the crowd really coming to voice now. The first goal for Troy Cook, the 14th goal for Sydney, gives them a 2-goal advantage. It's still not over by a long shot. Kelly kicks it forward for Sydney. The ball lands at half forward. The umpires picked a free kick out of that. It's going to Schwass. You thought he was being held, Nick, did you?
Yeah, there was a free kick for being held.
Look at this kick by Schwass. He's kicked 3.
He is quality, Robbo. There's no doubt about that.
Yep, no drama there.
And great coaching, actually, by Ed, in pushing an experienced player, Schwass, knowing that he's got an inexperienced player in the forward part of the ground in a pressure game situation. He's got back from the mark, said, well, I can kick this. He took it upon himself, and I love seeing players who do take that responsibility, especially when the game's nice and close. Great play, Wayne Schwass.
Well, he's kicked 3 straight. One was a little controversial right on the three-quarter time siren. And the Swannies have a 3-goal advantage, and their fans are cheering wildly.
It's the biggest margin so far in this match. 15-12, 12-12. Stafford outreached this time by Clark. Brisbane have got to get the next goal. McPherson got it from Roos. On to Creswell. Creswell measures it from 50. Leads back and goals! I reckon they're home. The Swannies by 4. It's like they've pierced the heart of the Lions in the last minute, haven't they? 16-12. And all of a sudden, the game that's been a kick and a half in it for most of the night blows out to a 4-goal match.
And what an exciting contest that has been. Voss versus Creswell, but Creswell knew the percentage time, when to push forward on that occasion, got across the 50-metre line, and once again we've seen Creswell, who's a quality finisher, take it upon himself and kick a goal for the Sydney Swans.
Gee, I declared the Bombers here one day, Robbo, and Sydney got up. I've got to be careful.
Yes, they can score quickly because it's a centre bounce that's also important. They've made a couple of breaks and they've got 2 goals as a result of it.
As the chant goes up.
Well, it can quite easily go the other way. We'll just see, wait and see. The bounce has really advantaged there, Clark, but he's given away a free kick, and Creswell is the recipient, and he looks to put pressure on the defence quickly by banging it down towards full forward at the back locket, but the free kick to Bradshaw between the full-back area and the half-back flank. He goes across the line, and it's taken there by Lappin.
Going to learn something about the Lions here. They fell apart against the Bulldogs in the last 10 minutes last week when they felt they couldn't win. To see if they can just hang in here.
It is a test of your own fabric within the team, Bruce.
O'Brien with the football in the right back pocket. Kicks high. He was looking to maybe short pass it, and it goes back to a situation where the Swans come away through Stevens. His kick, brilliantly marked by Barry. Spectacular mark by Leo Barry. Andrew Hughes maybe a little frustrated. You couldn't possibly give a 50-metre penalty for that. Oh.
Interesting, Robbo.
I don't believe that. Well, the gloss was there because this boy took a terrific mark. He's going to make a certainty of it now from the square. And they lead by 5. (17-12 to 12-12). 12 and a half minutes left in this last quarter.
It's an interesting learning point from a defensive player, any young kid watching the game. It's so important to establish body contact. On that occasion, Lappin did lose his direct opponent in Barry. He's got to feel him and know where he is from the defensive aspect.
5-goal margin. Swans rolling away here. Carter getting ready to come on. Nick Carter for the Lions. Barry, who's been handy all night, getting his first goal. Lockett in the centre square. Backhands it. Creswell. Good innovation there by Creswell. Carey. Barry trying to give one off. Back to Carey. Pushes forward. Lynch. Cook so hard. Pushes the ball back with the force. Creswell there. Play on call. Cook getting involved. Goes to full forward. Kelly over the back. Lynch. Shouldn't forget what a good game Lynch has played, and the flurry of what's happened in the last 10 minutes with Brisbane now being blown away. There's Alistair Lynch who he's had a pretty ordinary, I say ordinary build-up. Brisbane keep telling us how well he's been training, but his football on the field hasn't been so good at the start of this season, but he's done extremely well tonight on Lockett. 30-point game. Mooney, Kelly, Kennedy, Orchard with pace, goes to goal, and getting underneath. Oh, Lynch makes an error, goes back to Tristan Lynch, and the back pocket runs away.
Well, they were a little lucky to get out of this, because that kick by Tristan Lynch was no way known it was meant for Nigel Lappin, but he's taken the mark on the defensive 50-metre line. He's taken a bit of a risk. Lawrence is marked closer to centre-half back. He can go right across the ground. The player out wide is Kennedy. Kennedy waiting the kick. The opportunity now is with Marcus Ashcroft out wide. The ball bounces nicely for him. He kicks in towards the half-forward area. Clark, just too nimble there was McPherson. McPherson's kick back towards the wing. No mark to Mooney. Hand pass in the area of Cresswell. In turn to Kelly. Kelly looks, assesses, and then delivers. A little too far there for Wayne Schwass. And Stephen Lawrence sees the ball over. Andrew Buse, maybe a disciplinary move there. He was the culprit in the 50-metre penalty, which enabled Leo Barry to kick from the goal square. I would have suggested that he probably would have kicked the goal anyway, but certainly made a certainty of it.
Official attendance 32,111. Probably not quite as big as it looks, to be truthful. A few of the SCG members, there's a few vacant seats there, but still a very healthy opening crowd. Kennedy wide. Chance here, they've got some numbers. Chris Johnson to provide a shepherd for Kennedy against Nix. Kennedy's high ball to full forward. Dunkley, Lepage, Power, who's been very impressive. Round the bodies, is his third? No. Across the face of goal and a boundary throw in. But, well, good things come out of all situations. Power, Black, Aubrey, you'd have to be happy with their performances tonight from Brisbane's point of view and the future. Three young kids.
They lead by 5 goals, and Wayne Schwass has kicked 3 bottlers, Bruce.
Absolutely. Who's giving the votes? Robbo, you or
I think Michael.
Mickey? Well, and he might be the bog. Kelly, good fly, play on call. O'Brien, who's been a very important player. Creswell on the up. Ruse couldn't quite. Now gets back. Orchard busy to Luff. Luff off one leg. I'm not sure if he looked, but if he did, it was superb to Nix. And this is icing on the cake. Behind. Well, kicked a good goal in the third, didn't he? They stretch it away, though, the Swans. 115 to 84. And after losing their opening 2 matches in 1997, they look destined now to start with a couple of wins in 98.
Well, there's 10 minutes left. That you would think that Brisbane, well, they'd certainly have to kick 2 quick ones to give them some sort of impetus. It's with the Swans at the moment. Aubrey with the football in the right back pocket for Brisbane. Forced to kick high. Not really to the advantage of his team, and it becomes a bit of a contest. That might have been a free kick, was it? You saw it that way.
Against Dunkley.
Yep.
Head height.
And it's young Robbins, who hasn't been seen at all until this last term. His short pass has been marked by Voss. 31 points is the advantage for Sydney. Short. Black has the football. He's still a long way from goal. He's probably, well, 2 kicks, maybe 2.5 kicks from goal. They really have to keep possession of the football, and that doesn't help much. Clark over the top, gathered by McPherson, confronted by Dion Scott. Handball went straight through Paul Ruse's legs. He had time to recover and get the hand pass away to Schwass. He has just played some sort of a game, Wayne Schwass. To Luff. Back in towards the middle to Kelly. Hand pass. The second option was Ruse. Ruse in towards the half-forward area. Cook taken to the ground by Kennedy illegally, says the umpire, and Cook will take the free kick 45 metres from goal. And really no eyes for the footy there by Matthew Kennedy, and a fairly blatant free kick to Troy Cook. He's kicked a goal earlier in this quarter, and he's kicked another goal. If he's got the distance, he's got his second goal for the quarter. So it really is a bit of a procession in the first half of this last quarter. The Swans have kicked 5 goals and now lead by 37 points.
As you said, Robbo, there was Matthew Kennedy's sole intention was to sort of nullify cooking, marking the ball, but you can't do that. The rules don't allow that. But it's good to see a young player who hasn't had much ground time on the ground to get onto the ground and actually kick 2 goals.
37 points the margin. All the Swans in the final term. The Bulldogs kicked the last 4 goals of the match against Brisbane last week, and so far in this final term, Sydney's kicked 5-0. Voss out of the centre to full forward, and something's happened behind play. I think there's going to be a free kick to Sydney at centre-half forward against Nick Carter to Craig O'Brien. And free kicks have been absolutely costly for Brisbane in this last term. We saw Schwass earlier on. The Bews 50, whether you agreed with it or not, made it a certainty for Barry. And now Brisbane go from a situation where they're going to be 30 metres out from their goal, and O'Brien's going to have a shot for goal from 50 metres.
He'll give Carter a mouthful here if he kicks this.
Leans back. He's kicked it beautifully, O'Brien. He hit it well.
Not short of a word, Craig.
He's made the most out of his footy career, hasn't he, O'Brien? I mean, 3 years ago, you could have probably said he was gone, and he's just come up here and done a job.
He is one player that really gets involved in the psychological stakes out there, Bruce. And he did that at the centre bounce. He was sort of imposing his will, but he is one player that can kick multiple goals, as we've said throughout the course of the night. When you do get back 55 metres from goal, at the size he is, he becomes so important in the overall multiple goal kicker within the Sydney Swans makeup.
Well, the bounce back at the centre, it's been all Sydney in this last quarter. Craig O'Brien's 3rd goal gives them pretty much an unassailable lead. Voss has been terrific. He really has tried very hard. Darryl White, not quite able to control the footy. Tries to get it back in the area of Black. He's harassed by Cresswell. The ball spills for Voss. Little hand pass back to O'Brien. 127 plays 84. And O'Brien quite intelligently finds Power. He's very wide and still a long way from goal. Just forward of the wing, in front of the Bill O'Reilly stand here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. There's a mark to Marcus Ashcroft. Now O'Brien, who kicked the goal from outside 50 at the other end, in the same circumstance, the other end of the ground, Marcus Ashcroft, the player on the mark, is about 50 metres from goal. So it is feasible for him to get the distance. He doesn't go really for distance, and a good mark taken there by Johnson. And he is about 15, maybe 20 metres closer. Terrific mark. He's a good player, Chris Johnson. Don't quite know whether he's really got the absolute value out of himself just yet, but still a young man. And their last goal coming 26 minutes into the 3rd term. But Chris Johnson certainly corrects that. He's got a goal for Brisbane. So Johnson's 1st goal brings up the Brisbane team's 13th goal, but they still trail by 37 points. 6.5 minutes left in the game.
As you said, Robbo, Chris Johnson can be a very good player, but one thing that he has to do as an individual is try to get more consistency in his game, and that's the challenge to any modern-day footballer, to become consistent and a valuable member on every occasion you take the field.
(19-13 to 13-12). Johnson, goal in the final term. There's Dion Scott, the 1st goal for the Lions in this last quarter. Clark down to O'Brien. O'Brien kicks the ball inside 50. Swans with numbers. Ball comes out the back. Alistair Lynch having a run up forward. Nigel Lappin, Ackermanis, wide to Voss. It was an awkward one. He took it beautifully. Back to Ackermanis with some pace. Breaks the tackle. Gets the ball to Power. Power kicks and kicks another one. His 3rd. They needed it, didn't they? Had to finish the game off with something to take home, because they've been good, Brisbane, for most of this match, except for maybe a 10 or 15 minute spell in the last quarter, and they've got a couple of late goals.
In the last quarter here, Bruce, we've seen the ground level capabilities of Michael Voss. The loose ball, when it is a little bit fumbly, Michael Voss, the quality player he is, knows when to get the ground level ball, but also he gives time and space to his teammates when he releases by hand. But this young fellow, Luke Power, with his 3rd goal, has been an exceptional find for the Brisbane Lions, and that is one thing that these Brisbane Lions can take heart out of tonight's game.
Well, you would have to say that the Swans have the advantage, but Brisbane, they haven't given up. Hughes just falling over. Bradshaw, little left foot kick, and fortunately, maybe for the Brisbane side, it did go over in front of Troy Cook, as that looks like it might be Stephen Lawrence there, having a spell on the bench for Brisbane. 6 minutes left, 31 points, so they've got to kick 5 goals. They got 2 within a minute. And a scramble there, resulting in a bounce about 55 metres from Sydney's goal. 127 plays 96, 3 goals each for Sydney to Schwass, O'Brien and Kelly, and 3 goals each for Brisbane to Luke Power and Justin Lepage. Clark down to Ashcroft. Ashcroft out of that well, congestion you could have called it, and in front of Darren Cresswell. He was quite happy to see it go over, and just a little bit of gamesmanship there between Michael Voss and Darren Cresswell. They have had a fantastic battle in the middle of the ground here. Both of them would be mentioned, I would think, in their best players for the respective teams. Maxfield's kick into the full forward area, brilliant gather by Barry, hand pass to Kelly, and hacked it out of there. That, oh, gee whiz, that would have been a miracle if that had gone through. Big plugger, and Bartlett chipping in as Black, confronted by Stevens, and a rush behind to Sydney.
It's the first time I've ever seen a banana being kicked off the ground,
Yeah,
right?
what better if it had gone through, Mick.
Great skill, I would have said.
Oh, terrific stuff by Paul Kelly.
Here it is again, Robbo.
Oh, dear. Wasn't far away.
No, it's a good effort. Oh, Black took his eye off it. He's had a very encouraging match. Stafford, Creswell, probably just a bit hot there for Nix. Creswell back onto it, tries to boot it off the ground, held up, ball out wide. Stafford, 45 metres from goal, keeps the ball in, but Lynch takes the mark. Tristan Lynch almost runs out. He holds the ball back in play, comes away from the back pocket, kicks the ball out wide, over the head of Lappin. Boundary throw-in. 128 to 96, so next week Swans to play Geelong here on Easter Sunday. That's a very big match. You heard Scotty Palmer earlier say that Brisbane, well, Melbourne is asking the question, can they change the Easter Monday game to Easter Monday night? We won't know the answer to that for a day or two, but I think the AFL are going to check up, have a look at the weather patterns and see whether or not Melbourne's initiative can change that game to Monday night. We've already got one Easter Monday game in Melbourne, Essendon and Carlton. I would think that would be the first time we've had an Easter Monday game scheduled interstate against the Melbourne game anyway at the same time. We had an Anzac Day game last year with Freo and the Saints on at the same time as Essendon and Collingwood. But Black, back to Lynch, Tristan Lynch, high ball, centre wing, Voss underneath it. With him Cresswell, as Robbo said, they've both been good. Cresswell's had over 20 possessions, so has Voss, boundary throwing.
And again, Paul Kelly, probably a statistic that doesn't show, but gee, the coaches love it. He just kept on trying to create a contest back where that ball came from just a few seconds ago. Clark over the top, tries to get it to the back to Ashcroft. Maxfield out wide. Stevens a high kick. Will land close to full forward, and the ball bouncing awkwardly. Tristan Lynch over the top. Bartlett sits for him. Run down though by O'Brien, and the ball spills to Kelly. Cook. 2 players on their own in the square were Lockett and Mooney, and they just couldn't quite, well, maybe they didn't see. In the finish it was a flurry from Cook that results in a behind to Sydney. 19-15, plays 14-12. The kick in has been marked by Bartlett.
At halfback, kicks the ball to centre wing. White, who had some magic moments earlier in the match. Roos's kick only as far as Ackermanis. Kennedy, clever. Back to Robbins, over the top of it, no free kick. Good tackler, Orchard, isn't he? He's quick to put his hands on the opposition and hold it up.
He's certainly got that low centre of gravity.
Brooksy, there's a player down on the boundary line.
Yeah, Bruce, Leo Barry's having a couple of trainers work feverishly. Cramps in both feet. Stephen Carey's got an ice pack on an ankle. Probably doubtful whether they'll come on.
Schwass, thanks for that, Neil. And Robbins, and again a bounce. Well, we're very deep now into this match with less than 3 minutes remaining. Swans are going to have a comfortable win, but Brisbane had its moments. Had a real chance in the third quarter when they took the initiative away from the Swans, and that Schwass goal right on the siren, just gave Sydney a bit of breathing space at three-quarter time, but the game was up for grabs. So Clark to take it. Who's won the battle, Stafford or Clark?
It's been an interesting one, but I think Stafford pushing forward has certainly gave the impetus to him and his side, because he did kick 2 critical goals when the game was in the balance.
Clark's kick, Lynch, good mark, long way from goal. He did the job on Lockett for the first half and a bit. Oh, Lepich got up really high. That might have hurt. Back to Nix. Too far there for Kelly. Chance for Power. Power across the front. Spectacular diving mark by Michael Voss.
I reckon he'd be a great slips fieldsman. He'd be terrific at anything, Michael Voss. Don't you reckon? He's got a strong body. He just seems to be able to jump in the air, jump sideways. Great control of the footy.
This is a Lepich fly. He's still recovering. Up high, Dunkley at the back. So Voss to kick his first goal. And the Lions have made some inroads, haven't they? Sydney got away to a 43-point lead in this last quarter. And Voss, has he missed? Well, class player, you wouldn't have thought he would.
Might sound like a record, Bruce, but that young Power was in that action again. Just watch him here with his presence.
Great presence of mind to assess the options, and he found Voss, who was out wide free, Robbo. But as you said before, the surety of Michael Voss's hands enables him to become a class act.
Kick in there, Dunkley and Cresswell combined, and Cresswell's kick is going to give the chance here for O'Brien. Can he keep it in? He can. Looks downfield, kicks long. Lockett, I think it might have gone up. No, I think the goal umpire is giving him the benefit of the doubt, and deep into the match, Plugger going for his first goal in this match. Well, this must be close. He's kicked it. He's got the goal. Much to the delight of the Swans fans. He really is a popular figure here in Sydney, Tony Lockett, and he's kicked Sydney's 20th goal.
It's a right smile too. Just wanted to go home with one on his sheet, didn't he? It looked at behind. I'm not going to argue, but I think the goal up, I thought, well, Plugger hasn't had a goal tonight. Let's give him an opportunity. And you'll see Plugger go back around, and he just, I think we might miss it, but he puts his hands in the air and goes to the crowd and says, oh, at long last. He's got one. It's going to be interesting. His future at Sydney this year, you'd never write him off, and he's such a superb, proud competitor. But you just wonder where his great value is going to be to the club this year. It's one that they're going to have to address, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure, Bruce. But from a confidence point of view, it's great to take a mark just when the duration of the game's nearly over. But Tony Lockett, I never risk champions or pot champions, Bruce. They always come back and bite you on the butt.
That's for sure. They bite you pretty hard, and he's one of the greats of all time. There is no doubt about that. Sydney go forward. Schwass very clever. Cook tries to break 1 or 2 tackles, and free kick coming here to against Cook. The tackle there on Busey. So Andrew Busey's, he reckons, in his last season. He's got some hope of playing 300 games if he doesn't miss one and Brisbane get involved in a final or 2. Robbins pushes wide to Black. Gee, if you're voting on the rookies tonight, Robbo, Power, Black.
Well, Power, I think.
O'Brien.
Yeah, Power, I think. He's kicked 3 goals, and I just think his assessment of situations when it's been a little hot was terrific.
So that's it. 38-point win for the Swans. Pretty handy in the end. Kelly, an excellent match. Ashcroft was good too. 2015 to 14-13. Rodney E, 40 today. Tony Lockett, 1 goal. Schwass, well, Mickey, you're going to have to get him into those 1, 2, 3 somewhere, I reckon. Saddington kicked a nice goal.
I don't think it'll be too hard, Bruce. Wayne Schwass was clearly the difference between the 2 sides.
So the final scores at the SCG, the Swannies over the Lions, 2015 135, 14-13 97.